Recently, a lot of things have been posted all over the internet about how, like, when I was younger, like, I would say slurs, right? And I'm happy that you brought that up because I think it kind of serves to show like why these points are important.
But you're not racist, right?
No, I'd say that I'm not currently exhibiting racism.
What kind of answer is that?
Reason that I wanted to bring this up was because, I recognize that, like
he's in racist like remission or something like that. I could relapse potentially. I don't know. Who knows? He's like, I did the 10 steps to become a reformed. I'm in recovery. I'm in recovery for my racism. Okay, dude.
When I was 14, like saying the N-word, that was like really bad. I also recognize that we should, not take that lightly, because as soon as we start taking, even like 14, 15, 16-year-olds saying slurs lightly, that kind of makes it socially acceptable for kids to slur because, oh, well, they're kids. But like, what I've done is I have not only like had character progression, I've changed as a person and apologized for those things, but then I actively advocate against them. And I'd say that's the big difference.
But you never brought any of that up until somebody exposed you for it, right? I mean, you didn't just say, oh, by the way, when I was 14, I used to say slurs. Somebody pointed out that they had messages that you had sent from back then.
Between like someone like me that has done bad things, like been racist and said slurs in their past, and Donald Trump with these related issues from 1992 and the early 2000s, is he hasn't. And then I also would say that, there is a difference between, saying slurs due to racist socialization, learning, changing, becoming a better person and growing, and like, abusing a woman like Donald Trump did to E. Jean Carroll. I'd say like you have to lack.
He didn't though.
Necessary virtues there. But I wanted to ask you a question specifically.
That case is, that woman is like out of her mind. Like between all that, like he is married to like a beautiful woman. He can have any woman. He can date models, all these things. And then you have this woman who's like known, some like crazy feminist, anti-Trump in the woods, like all this stuff. Like really?
I like how Dean's like, yeah, let's not talk about me anymore. Let's talk about Trump. But this really isn't the best argument to make. To say that Trump didn't assault her because he didn't find her attractive is really not the best argument. There are a lot of real substantial arguments to not believe this woman.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you know one?
I don't have. How about this? I do not believe all women.
Do you know one piece of evidence that she had submitted to the court to prove that he had sexually abused her?
What was it? Are we talking about the dressing rooms?
What evidence? There was no physical evidence. First of all, he wasn't on trial for a rape. He was in a civil court for defamation. There was no burden of proof on her to prove that the sexual assault had technically happened.
Well, I'm asking if you know a piece of evidence that she submitted to prove.
No, I mean, I simply...
There wasn't any evidence.
Look at that woman and I go, she's out of her mind, and this clear bias is crazy. So, I'm a woman. I can see people lying.
As the mediator, I want to just talk. There are cases, as she's talking about, where the women have tried to expose somebody or, it's a money play. I'm going to sue you. So there are cases where that happens, and there are cases where that happens as well, right?
Yes. What I'd say to that point is that's atypical to occur. So about 2 to 8 to 10% of allegations that we'd see in the context of sexual abuse are false, right? And that percentage even slims further when we'd consider what percentage of false allegations make it through our courting system, like this did with Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll, right? So
this isn't correct. What he's quoting from is the number of cases that are litigated and they're proven to be false. In other words, a person is found not guilty. No, there's a lot more cases that are false rape accusations that never make it to court to begin with. So nobody knows what the real number of false rape accusations really are, but it's not 2% or 10% or whatever stupid bullshit he says. It's a much higher number.
So if you're going to posit the idea that, well, she was lying about it, she either wanted his money, she was crazy.
She was lying about it.
The anti-Trump, whatever. Well, you'd have to give me reason to believe that because
there's a lot of reasons, dude. Have you looked into this case at all?
How atypical that is to occur. But a point that I wanted to address with
That's not an argument. That's not an argument. You're basically saying the false rape accusations are rare, so therefore she's telling the truth. That's stupid, dude. Even if that is the case, there's always exceptions to rules, stupid.
You come out of the gate swinging, saying that E. Jean Carroll was a liar. She was just doing it for the money. She was crazy. She's a feminist, anti-Trump all day.
Correct.
But you don't know any of the evidence that she submitted to the court to prove that Donald Trump had sexually abused her.
Why don't you tell us what evidence it was? Also, You're the one making the positive claim here. You're asking her to prove a negative, which is literally impossible. The burden would be on you to prove the positive claim. The preponderance of evidence in a civil court is different than a criminal court. Being held liable for something in a civil court isn't the same as being found guilty in a criminal court.
Question. She submitted this how long after the incident occurred?
23 years.
Okay, what's your thoughts on that? Statute of limitations.
Sure.
The moderator's a fucking retard. He needs to just be quiet. If you did he just say statute?
Okay, what's your thoughts on that? Statute of limitations.
I can't tell. He just like mumbled his way fucking through it. Like, dude, just be quiet.
Sure. Well, first of all, 63% of women that do get sexually abused never report it to the authorities in their lifetime
So what?
because rape culture exists.
No, that's not the reason why, dude.
And, people like you actively uphold that by denying the lived experiences of a victim who didn't just accuse a man of rape, proved it in court.
You're just making an emotional argument here. This is not an actual argument. I mean, he's just doing an appeal to emotion thing. Like, you defend rape culture. It's like, because I don't believe E. Caroll, who is obviously lying. I mean, does he know anything about this story? I'm waiting for them to actually say some definitive thing about the story.
Hold on.
Without knowing
Respectfully, let's give her
As
chance to respond.
as a female who grew up in Los Angeles in the nightclub scene, going to nightclubs when I was 13, my brother's one of the biggest DJs and club owners.
Well, that doesn't seem exactly responsible, but okay.
Who's your brother?
You probably.
Who cares? Fuck, moderator, shut the fuck up. Dude, he could be the shittiest moderator I've ever fucking heard. Holy fucking, we just got started, dude.
He doesn't want to be a part of this, though. I have been around a lot of celebrities, ironically predators, my entire life. The amount of darkness I've seen, and also the extremely traumatizing things that have happened to me since a very young age. At no point am I ever dismissing these things are not real. Out of probably every female I've met in my life, these things are the most real to me. With that said, I've also seen the lives of amazing men and their careers taken away by women who lie. There is darkness on both sides. It is 100% equal. Because I don't believe one woman with all this insanity. Like I said, we don't need to dive into the politics of it. I just see with my own eyes and anyone goes, this is clearly bias. But I'm not denying these things don't happen. I'm denying she's clearly fucking crazy. She hates Trump. And the irony that, now that he's president and running, it came out. I would never wait 23 years.
Okay.
What do you think about that real quick?
Yeah, 63% of women who get sexually abused never report it to the authorities in their lifetime.
What percentage of them wait 20 plus years and then report it, Dean? Because that's what happened here. You're quoting a statistic that doesn't apply to this situation, because obviously Jean Caroll went public with her allegations at one point. The way she went public with it was she wrote a book, in which case she named Trump, although she didn't literally name him. She kind of did a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, he's a famous real estate developer that just started a political career. You might know who I'm talking about, because she wanted to sell books and she wanted to make her book sensational.
It is very typical for women to wait before coming out about these things. Because
it is not typical for a woman who is sexually assaulted to wait 20 plus fucking years before telling anyone about it. That is not typical, you absolute dipshit.
Because of the social pressures that exist because of rape culture, if we want women to wait less time to come out about getting sexually abused, what we have to do is reduce the impact of rape culture, right? But the way that we do that is by having these conversations in good faith, right? Stop victim blaming women that get sexually abused by calling them crazy. And if we are going to make the claim that someone is making a false report or like alleging a false allegation, do so with good reason. And there was one really important point that I had brought up earlier. You don't know any evidence that she used to...
Yeah, you've already said that like several times, dude. What is your evidence that he's guilty? Tell us the evidence. Don't ask her what evidence she knows about. You need to tell us what evidence there is.
Prove to the jury, the anonymous 9 jurors, that Donald Trump had raped her.
Did he just say unanimous? Is that like anonymous and unanimous?
And that's a really important point. Do you think it'd be fair?
The jury did not find that he sexually assaulted her. The jury found that he was guilty of defamation.
For me to say that all the food in your fridge is spoiled?
No.
And it wouldn't be fair for me to say that because I just met you.
What is this weird fucking random analogy? Like, what?
I don't know your address. I've never been inside your house.
No, I see. We're coming at this from two different approaches. You're saying all these things. I'm saying from someone who actually.
Yo, by the way, how did we get into the most serious topic?
I know. I'm saying this is going to be a different approach for the whole thing. I'm coming at as someone who chooses. I don't want to know anything about the case. It doesn't matter to me.
So willful ignorance, right?
So I'm literally coming at it from a perspective. So I'm like, okay, so this, with the amount of beautiful women this man's been around his whole life, this one who is unattractive, an insane feminist, had shit painted of, feminist ideas on her thing in the cabin, and now it's coming out this much later with a, justice system that is weaponized against him. And then on top of that, she's doing it while he's president. Actually, I disagree with you. I think it's the opposite. I think horrible things happen to women every day. I know, I've experienced it. And I think doing this, what she's doing, is actually fucked up, and it's fucked up for women. I don't think what he's doing is fucked up.
So based off what she was kind of saying, do you think that we're talking about 23 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And this is just a honest question. Do you think that timing, how effective is timing? If someone's doing really well, a lot of the times you see that's when the case happens, right?
Sure.
Or that's when they want to come challenge that.
So I'll respond to that. And I'd also like to address some of the things that she just said.
We have a lot to get to.
It's
but you go ahead.
Yeah,
go
the
ahead.
timing's fucking impeccable with these things.
So here's my thing about that. First of all, if you're going to make the claim that she was doing it for money, right, I feel like then she would have came out earlier when she was younger.
How much money is she getting rewarded?
Why does that make sense? Why not come out when he's running for president? That's when he's in the news the most. That's when you're going to get the most attention. Why would you do it? Why would you just arbitrarily do it when he was younger? This is a woman who made multiple allegations to multiple men, and none of them were substantiated ever.
What was it?
It was $87 million.
87
million?
Yeah.
87
but do you mind if I finish that thought real
for
quick?
something that never happened.
But I'd like to finish my thought there real quick.
Unbelievable.
And then, so here's my take. Even if I was to sit here and accept the fact that a reason why she brought these allegations to the public's attention was because he was our president running for re-election, I don't think that changes a damn thing. In fact, I would say that she did the American people well by informing the voter base. And I mean, you're sitting over here saying that it was so terrible for her to do. Why is she telling the American people that the guy I'm voting for is a sexual abuser? Well, I think that we should hold people in positions of power to a level of criticism and insofar as all the American citizens knowing exactly who we're voting for, exactly who we want running the country, right? But that also doesn't discount what happened to her. Something that you had said earlier, there was that it doesn't matter, you don't care, and this is kind of hypocritical because what were you saying directly before that? You were talking about undocumented migrants.
She doesn't believe the assault happened, though, dingus. She's not saying I believed it happened and I don't care. Do you understand the difference? Like, she doesn't think that it happened because it clearly didn't.
Raping women. You were talking about undocumented migrants.
I don't give a fuck about what happened 23 years ago. I care about the children that are being trafficked in today.
Oh, okay. Wait. 23 years ago.
Hold on. Two things. First is, let's not seclude Donald Trump to being the only politician that's ever been accused of something like that.
Of course. But can you name another politician where it was proven in a civil court that they had raped a woman?
It wasn't proven that he raped a woman in the civil court. He was guilty of defamation in the civil court. But I can't think of another instance where a politician was in civil court for defamation for a sexual assault allegation. How can I do that when there's not another example of it? Can you think of an example where a politician was in court for defamation for sexual assault, period? I can't even think of one. So what? What is that supposed to prove?
There's been a lot of Democrats that have been on the Epstein flying list, going to Epstein.
And I would like to be clear, I will never vote for someone.
So I just want to say, like, this whole topic, although it is important, let's not seclude him.
I mean, I disagree. I don't think
But I guess my point would be come November, right? It's either you're going to vote for someone that has sexually abused a woman or you're not. And I guess my question would be...
This is just your opinion, though, dude. Like, this is just your opinion that it happened. Like, nobody cares about your opinion about it. Like, you have to actually prove the thing happened. You can't just say it happened and just hope everybody believes you.
What about the interview when she came out after and she basically admitted that was not true, and then she started saying things like, "Oh, even like things you could say, things you say could be rape." I mean, like, I'm sorry, I live in Los Angeles. I've known many athletes, actors, grew up with all of them. The amount of men I've seen, it's so interesting how as soon as someone's at the peak of their career.
How do you start off so hot?
Sorry. I mean, I thought that the topic was important, you know? Like, I legitimately don't see how, like, you as a woman could stand for someone that's, you know, overturned Roe v. Wade, rescinding the right to get abortion back to the state, leading, like,
I think it should be state by state.
So what does that have to do with this? So now we moved on to another thing. Okay, cool.
Sexual abuse. Okay. Why?
That's fine. I think if everyone in a state wants something, go ahead and have it.
So if everyone in Alabama wanted slavery back, you'd be okay with that?
Is slavery and abortion the same thing?
Sure. If everyone in the state wants it, go ahead. What do I give a shit?
All right. Well, let's go next topic.
Well,
It's like these questions are so funny.
About that?
These questions
No,
are
we're
so
not gonna
funny
talk
because
about that.
they're meant
So
to trap
I
you.
just-
I'm
I
getting
don't
nervous.
care.
I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
You understand that that was the same argument that the Confederacy upheld, right? So do you wish that the Confederacy won the war?
Why does he pronounce it like that? Confederacy. Yeah, it's just odd. I don't know. Whatever. Small thing, but it's like Confederacy.
Because
Confederacy. It's just, why don't you pronounce it like fluidly? Confederacy. It's not a hard word.
according to your worldview, the Union impeded upon the state's ability to legislate.
No, but it's
as
an
they liked.
irrelevant argument.
Yeah, but it's not relevant to this discussion, though, dipshit. We're not talking about that. This is a completely unrelated thing.
No, so you're glad that the Union won?
This is what I'm saying. All these
Like, I could just throw this exact argument back on a shit lib like Dean and sit there and say, do you think that, for example, the state of California has the right to impose an assault weapons ban? And somebody might make the argument that, well, you know, yes, I do, because I'm in favor of gun control. Like a liberal would, like Dean would probably say that. But somebody who's a conservative like her would probably say, well, I'm not in favor of gun control in general, but I believe that the states should have the right to make legislation if they have enough public support for it in their state. That's probably what she would say. So it's like, I don't know, who cares of like, what, this isn't really the important part of the discussion. This isn't really that important. Like, who cares about that?
these things are it's like you're phrasing it in a way where it's like I could be like, yes, obviously no. Like I'm not some like psychopath. Like I live in LA. I'm not some crazy right-wing person.
So now you're saying it's
But if
psychotic to
everyone
say
in the
that-
state wants something, sure, let them have it.
Okay, so you agree with the
No one's
Confederacy.
voting to bring back slavery now. Oh,
So
cool. So
I
10
just
crazy
wanna
people in
clarify.
a state.
Yeah, it's just a stupid red herring thing that's completely irrelevant. It's a non sequitur that's completely irrelevant to the topic.
You agree with the Confederacy.
No.
But the Articles of the Confederation.
All right, we
were
have to
states'
move on.
rights.
We got a limited
Yeah,
time
like,
here.
these gotcha moments don't work on me. I'm not a like
Okay,
it's
Emily,
not
don't get upset.
Okay.
Don't get upset.
And then-
We're just
no,
getting
it's
started.
just like dumb because this is like what liberals do and it's so
I know. Okay,
annoying.
so
It's
here we're gonna
very
move on.
lowbrow.
We're gonna move on.
I mean, she is correct about that. This is what shit libs do. Well, you would have been on the side of the Confederacy because you don't want abortions to happen. It's like, dude, are you like literally a child? This is how a child would argue. Oh, well, they're both states' rights issues, so therefore you have to either agree with all of them or none of them. It's like, this is silly.
We're gonna move on.
One of the things that's interesting about it is before the North was free, you could make literally the same exact argument about the North. You could flip the argument on its head and literally argue it just the opposite direction. It's not really about federalism and states' rights and things like that. It's about the issue. The important thing is the issue.
So I sat here with Dean and Emily for about 15, 20 minutes before we started this pod, and you guys agreed on a lot of things. I would like you to say something nice about Emily right now.
Dude, shut up. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. I cannot stand these fucking like amateur moderator dipshits.
Okay. I appreciate you for being outspoken, but I think what you're outspoken against is absolute insanity.
Okay.
Like, bro, what kind of fucking compliment was that? Even his compliment is just an insult.
Something nice about Dean.
I think you're very intelligent for how young you are. And I think most of these ideas through purely life experience are gonna change.
Okay.
Probably not. He's just gonna live in a shit lib echo chamber his whole life.
I like that. You look amazing, by the way. And I don't want to be like that guy, but I'm just saying, like, how come all the like Fox News, all the women, they're always like, why can't we get like on CNN someone that looks like her?
I don't watch mainstream media sources.
No?
But yeah, that was an
Okay, it's an odd random thing to say, but cool, I guess. It's weird.
That was it. That was an interesting.
You're a political pundit and you don't watch mainstream media sources, news sources. I don't. Okay.
It always has the most insanely. When you go through
It's like, no, like, why would I watch CNN if there's a smoke show?
Because it's more digestible when it comes out of an attractive person's mouth. You go, yeah, I kind of like.
I know. I'm trying to look at you. If I continue to look at her, don't take it personal. I'm just being clear.
Okay.
You cool with that? Just because it's like,
yeah,
she's hot. Yeah. So
but
dude, come on, man, move on. Holy fuck.
if you care about attractiveness and politics, you're like voting for like a 78-year-old Cheeto.
So basically, I'm gonna go back to that. I'm not picking who I'm voting based off that, but I'm going to watch Fox News if they have that kind of lineup over CNN.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next thing.
They love those blondes.
Huh?
They love the blondes.
I love blondes too. Without saying a bad thing about Trump, why should anyone out there vote for Kamala?
Great question. I think that Kamala Harris is a better candidate compared to Donald Trump for two main categorical reasons: policy and character. If we want to talk about character first, like she's not a 34-count felon.
Like, bro, you had one job without bringing up Trump. Say why you like Harris. Oh, well, she's not a felon like Trump. Bro, are you fucking stupid?
Not a proven sexual abuser. She's not a religious persecutor that tried to ban all new Muslims from coming into the country.
Oh my God, dude, so fucking based.
Right. She also stands for individualistic rights, freedoms, and liberties. Right. She wants to fight to codify federal protections for a woman's right to choose, ensuring that the family dynamic is safe and we're not forcing 18, 19, 20-year-old boys and girls to be parents. If we want to talk about policy, she wants to fight for the average working class American. She wants to reduce income inequities, right, by uplifting the low and the middle class.
It's just a meaningless platitude.
We could also reference the fact that she wants to limit corporations from buying single-family homes, further ensuring that, the younger generations especially can be a homeowner one day, and this will hopefully make that day sooner. We could reference how she wants to cap the amount of that any American citizen will pay out of pocket to buy pharmaceuticals to $2,000 a year, which is just a beautiful policy, keeping more money in the pockets of those that need it the most. And I mean, there's a plethora of other things that we could talk about here. But at the end of the day, I'd say why we should be voting for Kamala Harris is for progress.
No one's going to vote for Kamala Harris over Trump because of any of those things. I mean, that's all that's silly. And nobody did. Yeah. I mean, obviously she lost by a lot.
Okay, let's make our economy better. Let's care about that average American. Let's ensure, basic human rights. And let's keep the guy that tried to stage a coup to overthrow the country in 2020 out of the office. It's very simple.
Okay.
He's asked why someone should vote for Harris over Trump without mentioning Trump. And he mentions Trump more than he mentions Harris.
Why should we vote for Trump?
A lot to take in. Yeah, I mean, let's make it very simple.
Why did you just give him a pass on clearly not answering the question the way that he was supposed to answer? Okay, great moderation, dude.
Vote for Trump, the only person who's ever ran for president that actually wants to protect children and go after human trafficking. Only one, ironically. It's weird. Also wants to work with Democrats and independents to figure out and get to the root cause of childhood autism, illness. Once again, every single thing all these people are coming together for is quite literally the children. And there's no policies. Nothing else matters more than them. Okay. And I don't even see how.
Nothing matters more than children?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kamala Harris, she wants to increase the child tax credit to $6,000 per year for newborn, $3,600 from anyone from the age of 1 to 5, and $3,000 after that till 17. That's expected to reduce childhood poverty significantly.
Your argument presupposes she would actually accomplish any of those things.
And then also about children specifically,
it basically sounds like you're saying that she's in favor of like middle class tax cuts, but isn't Trump as well? I mean, who's going to sit there and vote for her over that?
Why we should be pro-choice, because when we have pro-choice legislation and we allow women to access abortion when they need it the most, this is ensuring that kids aren't being born into unwanted and unready households, and it's instead placing that burden on financial.
Yeah, they get to not be born at all. That's much better. It's like kind of, I mean, it's so funny to me because like I used to kind of like be a shit lib and I would say things like that, and then I started to like actually think about what I was saying as I got a little bit older. It's like, yeah, it's not really like the best argument.
Really well-off adults that consent to being parents and desire to start a family, like in places with pro-life legislation, we see increased levels of poverty, decreased levels of education and income, and overall lower qualities of lives, because we were forcing family units to exist when they shouldn't. And then also just the position that nothing matters more than children, but then you strictly advocate against gun control, with guns being the leading cause of death in kids, is a little bit funny. Same thing with sex ed.
She hasn't discussed literally any of these issues during this debate. He's just assuming her position on any of these things. Most conservatives would be against gun control because they don't think that gun control works. It's not that they care more about guns than they care about dead children. Your argument is presupposing that they actually believe that gun control would work, which it doesn't.
We have gun control. I'm not against gun control. I think you should go through
control?
multiple background checks. Yeah, I think they should be updated. I think they should be updated yearly. I think after a certain under a certain age, I am all for gun control, which we do have. But the problem isn't the guns; it's the people who have the guns, and the problem is the mental illness.
Why did you grow up in a household where it was all Democratic?
No. I grew up in an extremely conservative household.
Okay.
My mother has been banned off of Facebook 19 times because of how
She's a troll.
she is. Yeah, very pro-Trump. Same thing with my dad. Very pro-Trump.
It's kind of odd. You're kind of admitting that tech platforms are actively censoring right-wing voices, and then you just don't seem to have, I guess, an issue with that, I guess. Okay.
Family, all very pro-Trump. I mean, I grew up in like an online environment. I watched the Nelk Boys when I was young. I was like kind of not really a fan of Andrew Tate. I was a Trump supporter, and super right, yeah.
Okay, in the best way possible, how can you tell me how you switched or how you changed your mind?
Of course. The way that I describe it is through education and knowledge. I think when you could apply...
You saw a couple of Destiny videos and you're like, hey, I could do this. I could talk fast and I could regurgitate like talking points that I've memorized.
Critical thought to these very important issues. What you'll like typically like discover is that the liberals are right. And I mean, that has been a process of mine over the course of like the last 5 years. Of course, since I've been online, I've been very set and firm in what I believe in and why. But the process started with me actually thinking a little bit more conceptually about these things, putting the work in, reading the books, and then being like, oh, damn, maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like there's got to be a main point or trigger that was like, okay, this is why I'm going to side here, or this is why I'm going to support this person. So what was the main thing that was like, you know what, this is it? Both your parents are Trump supporters. Mm-hmm. So there's something that clicked where you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, or I don't support these people.
Well, I think one of the first things that clicked was the fact that Donald Trump had caused division in America. I remember when he was president and like being a Trump supporter, and then the first conscious thought that I had about politics was, well, I kind of like him, but he's caused so much division in America. The American people are so split. Nothing is getting done. We're regressing backwards because of his inability to actually lead us as a unit. And then I kind of started to develop more like nuanced takes on why I don't like him, why he's a bad person, and why his policies suck.
Where did you see the division?
A great example would be January 6th, when he tried to coup the country, rig the outcome of the 2020 election.
Wow, January 6th, guys. I mean, we can't have a discussion without bringing up January 6th at least half a dozen times.
In an attempt to install himself for a second presidential term.
I mean, obviously, that's not what happened on January 6th. This is just stupid.
Okay. And how...
I mean, a bunch of boomers like rearranged some furniture and broke a couple windows. That was all that basically happened. I mean, it was really not that interesting.
How did you grow up?
Bro, who fucking cares? Who cares?
One of the biggest issues I've had since I've lived in LA is, I told you this on the phone, I pay a lot of state income tax. A lot. And for some reason, when I go visit Florida, I lived in Miami for 2 years. No state income tax. Things are so much better there than they are in LA. I live in LA, lived here for 3 years now. The crime rate is ridiculous. The homelessness is going up. There's just a lot of problems. And for a state like this that takes so much money from the people, I just can't figure out where that money goes.
Yeah. Well, on your first topic, I mean, if you're willing, I'd love to talk to you about your comments about the LGBTQ plus community. If not,
Dude, is this supposed to be a debate between you and this guy? Or are you debating the girl?
Maybe we could do that off camera. But, about your second, comment there to do with taxes. If you like lower taxes, right? For the average American, this would be a good election to vote for Kamala Harris.
He's talking about state income taxes. It has nothing to do with federal income taxes. So he just dodges, he pivots to another thing.
The reason I say that is because we already know that her tax plan is built specifically for the average American, tax cuts for 100 million American workers who need it the most. But then Donald Trump's plan, apart from it being disproportionately built for the rich man, he also wants to impose tariffs, right, which would aggressively affect the low and the middle class even more, right? Because tariffs are inflationary. They cause the cost of goods at the grocery store to go up. And because the low and the middle class are spending more out of pocket to pay for those goods, it ends up impacting them the most.
See, that's why I get.
So why didn't that happen when Trump was president before? And why did Biden keep them in place? Even though Biden was dealing with inflation, why did he keep the tariffs in place? Actually, technically expanded on Trump's tariffs. Why did that happen?
Confused because I'm also learning because you're a very bright kid, but it's like
He's really not actually that bright. He just knows the shit lib talking points, and he knows the debate bro strategies.
I lived here in 2020, 2021, pre-COVID. Trump was president.
Yeah.
Costs were way down. The economy was flourishing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, well, Kamala's in office. Everything's up.
Yeah.
She's talking about all these changes she wants to make, but she's currently in office.
I get it.
So how do you explain?
Great question. First, I just think it's important for us to make the recognition that just because something happens in the country.
Bro, can you just answer a fucking question without just doing this bloviating word salad thing every fucking time it's your chance to talk? Holy shit.
Doesn't mean the president caused it. This will be just a 5-second tangent. For instance, at the end of Trump's term.
Yeah, when at the end of Trump's term, January 6th happened, and Trump wasn't responsible for that because he didn't tell those people to break into that building.
We had a 14.8% rate of unemployment. It was the highest since the Great Depression. That was in April of 2020. And now we wouldn't say that Trump caused that because the COVID lockdowns did. And very similarly with the levels
Okay, well, I'll give him credit for that. At least he points that out.
of inflation that we've seen under the Biden-Harris admin, those have been actually onset by the pandemic. We didn't just see this inflation here at home in America. We saw it in every single country across the world. But fun fact, the U.S. actually had the quickest rebound from the inflation onset by COVID out of any other country in the G7. And a lot of that is because of the extraordinarily good policy of the Biden-Harris admin.
No, it's just the good economy of the United States is all that is. The American economy has always beaten the European economy. I mean, I don't know if you want to go back 100 years, that I don't know. Basically, since the Second World War, we've always been ahead of them. The stock market has been outperforming. The American stock market has been outperforming the European stock market my entire fucking life. It's not that surprising that trend didn't just all of a sudden reverse in the last couple of years. Who cares?
Wait, so you're saying that inflation's down?
The rate of inflation right now, I believe last time I checked, it was sitting at about 2.5%. The highest rate of inflation that we had under the pandemic was at 9%.
And you can agree, though, let's make a quick agreement. COVID had nothing to do with Trump. The pandemic, no president is prepared for any of that.
Of course not.
So
Yeah.
if you take that equation out of his presidency, it's looking pretty good.
And we'd say the same thing about Biden and Harris's. Trump didn't cause COVID. Trump didn't cause what COVID onset under his admin, like the high rate of unemployment. Very similarly, Biden and Harris didn't cause COVID, and Biden and Harris didn't cause the inflation onset by COVID under their admin.
Okay.
But the problem is shit libs wanted to lock down the economy, and Trump didn't. So, you got to give him credit for not wanting to do that. That's what caused the unemployment. Now, you could say that they did it with the intent of attempting to save people's lives, and that's a noble thing. But nevertheless, it did play out like that.
And we agree that Democrats were the ones that pushed the lockdowns and to keep the country shut down. And I'm not saying whether that was morally correct or not, but that to me was not a Republican thing. That's why everyone left to red states, including me. I dipped out of the country.
My whole thing with the whole COVID situation is no one knows how to. That's something that no president's going to be able to handle.
No, it's one human being against a worldwide thing.
But that's
Yeah,
a
we can absolutely
situation where
agree.
it's no one knows what to do there.
I would not, if Kamala was in charge, I would not be blaming her for that. That would be insane and that would be wrong. I'm sure a lot of, grifter Republicans would. No, one person cannot handle that or be prepared for that. We've never seen anything like that really in our lifetimes. But that was, what changed my life and my views. And I just didn't places like this, we were treated like animals.
Yeah. When did you become so passionate about politics?
About politics,
And why have you decided to go this route? Because you really...
Can we just like actually fucking debate a fucking issue, dude, rather than asking him all of these stupid personal questions? I don't give a fuck about this kid's personal life.
Yeah.
This is your life now.
yeah, well, passionate about politics specifically, not that long ago. But I mean, what I've been passionate about for a long time is social issues and social change. So, I mean, since I started debating, since I started having my platforms, I've talked about things that have been really important to me, like if being gay is wrong or not, and debating on people why they think it is, on feminist topics, because that's what I really care about. But what I learned as I did that for so long is, unfortunately, these issues are political. And from my perspective, that's insane.
I agree.
So for the longest time ever, I didn't want to get into politics and be labeled a Democrat or a liberal, because what I really care about should not be political. But it is, and here we are talking about it on a podcast about politics.
And what's some of the backlash you faced?
Some of the backlash I faced for being a liberal? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, death threats, stalkers, really crazy people doing insane things, just what comes along with being an incredibly controversial niche on the internet. Of
Yeah.
course, there's a lot of backlash.
What about you? When did you become so passionate about being pro-Trump?
COVID lockdowns. So like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys think you can agree upon?
We literally sat here for an hour and agreed upon everything.
Well, I mean, I think like one thing that we could probably agree on is that we want like America to progress in a good direction.
Yeah.
We just like have fundamental disagreements on how we get there. And I guess if we can agree on that one thing, I feel like there's already been a couple things you've said on our conversation here today that have been so antithetical to that. Like, how do you take this belief that you want America to progress in a good direction and then somehow make that align with something that you had said earlier about how it's okay, it should be the case that states have the ability to legislate on the legality of slavery? How do you take those two beliefs and make them fit together?
They're completely different things. We're talking about one subject, abortion. Should it be up to the states? That's absolutely fine with me. There's also a reason, ironically, like I'm a pro-choice Republican, which is also not very popular. I live in California. It's a blue state. Let's be real. It's probably never going to be red. Abortion's never going to be an issue here. I also think on the list of 5 million things, abortion to me, it's at the very bottom. A lot of other countries have it figured out. A lot of other countries. I don't know why it's so difficult here to just find a middle ground and just move forward. Of course, it's a horrible thing. It is very sad. But at the same time, I don't understand why it's like, all we talk about is abortion.
So
it's kind of like, I don't understand at this point why it's so hard to find a fucking middle ground on this.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason why a lot of people talk about it so much, especially on the left, is because of how many people it impacts. Like 65,000 women who have been sexually abused in the state of Texas since Roe v. Wade have been denied access to abortion. 1 out of every 3 women of reproductive age at home here in America.
I think what he meant to say was since Roe v. Wade was repealed, 65,000 Texan women couldn't get an abortion. Since Roe v. Wade was repealed, most states haven't made it illegal. Some states have, and out of the states that have, most of them allow exceptions for rape and incest, life of the mother, etc. What people like Dean like to do is they like to hyperfixate on these specific edge cases. A woman gets raped, isn't on birth control, gets pregnant, which doesn't happen every time you have sex, happens to be in Texas, in one of the few states where they don't have these carve-outs. And yes, that's wrong, obviously, but all that would mean is that the woman would have to go to another state and then get her abortion. It's not as if she just simply could not get the abortion.
No longer have elective access to abortion.
Well, I also don't think abortion should be covered under your health insurance. I think it should be paid out of pocket.
Issue. How it's going to be paid for is a completely different issue than if it should be legal. But now you said that we should find middle ground, and you said that middle ground is giving it back to the states. Would you say that?
No. I don't mean middle ground. I think every state you should be allowed to have an abortion in. If I was in control.
No, you're not a conservative then, you're a liberal.
I'd be like, fine, I'm not in control. I understand some states are very red and they don't want that. The only middle ground I want to find is what time period you can have an abortion.
Okay.
Because people, like, look, I know everyone is going to deny women aren't, okay, they're going to deny women aren't using, abortions as birth. Yeah, they are. Women pop Plan B, they
What's
have
birth
abortions.
Plan B isn't an abortion, though, technically.
Basically, the
IUDs too.
Yeah, but no, people are saying
IUDs have nothing to do with what we're talking about. These people are fucking stupid. Oh my God, these people are dumb.
like women aren't using abortion as birth control. They are.
An IUD. Okay.
Have you ever been with a girl that has an IUD?
I wouldn't know.
You've never seen
Why wouldn't you know? What do you mean? What? What kind of fucking response is that? I wouldn't know. You don't discuss contraception with the girls that you're sleeping with, dude.
Those are the girls you should go for.
I don't think so. I love
ones you should
I'm in
go
a
for.
loving relationship.
You
but
say those 3 letters and I'm in love.
Not I love you, IUD.
Yeah, IUD. IUD, we are good.
wait, really? Like you really think that IUDs are a good thing?
Well, I think it.
A good thing? What are you meaning? What? It's a form of contraception that women prefer, and it works well. I don't know what you mean by a good thing, quote unquote.
You know exactly, like the girl's not going to get pregnant.
Yeah. What about you? What is your thought on
Why,
IUDs?
do you not like those? I think that's a good thing.
Well,
If a girl says, "Hey, I don't want to get pregnant for some years,"
we'll
I'm
have-
getting an IUD. That's why me and her get along.
What are your thoughts on IUDs?
Oh, I'm anti birth control.
But okay, so now this is.
I'm pro birth control.
This is a fun
Yeah,
one.
of course.
Do you think that abortion is murder?
Yeah, it's
okay.
killing a baby.
Killing a baby. So human life begins at conception,
Sure.
and IUDs can and do allow for conception to occur.
Oh, but my-
No, it doesn't. They don't. Why are these like little children discussing like adult things? I don't understand what's going on right now. Like, okay, I swear to God, everyone who's younger than me is just clinically retarded. I feel like that's what's happening right now in this country. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? If you don't know how contraception works, then just don't talk about it. You guys sound like complete fucking retards.
It's like it's murder. I'm like,
implantation.
but yeah.
So
I'm
a
fine.
woman with an IUD, you think she's a murderer?
No, I mean, I also don't. I don't
Let's
like
explore
it's
that.
murder. I don't think you're like a
Well,
murderer.
IUD is way different, bro.
Yeah, you're stopping.
that's because
the
that's-
IUD. You're stopping you're stopping it from
But let's
happening.
Not always.
Yeah, but let's be clear though that she is right that you get an IUD for the purpose of I am
not getting
I'm not
pregnant.
I don't have the ability to get pregnant.
But in some scenarios, an IUD has two.
Bro, I think you're struggling with pronouncing words. I think it stops. Don't say scenario. Don't say confederacy.
Two functions. One of the functions of an IUD is
I
to
love being explained this by a dude. It's so funny.
Wait, no, I'd like to hear your
Here,
take.
educate him. I think I'm okay.
well, if you understood like that one of the two functions of an IUD was to allow for conception to occur, then prevent its implantation into the uterine lining and starving it
Yeah.
to death, and you think that human life begins at the moment of conception, meaning that that's essentially killing a unique human life.
But I mean,
what's the difference between that and abortion?
Like that's when it starts, and that's when like the life inside
But
begins.
it doesn't start because it doesn't actually implant itself on the wall of the uterus. So technically it doesn't start.
Because an IUD is killing a unique human life the same way an abortion is, and if abortion is
Okay, wait.
a woman with IUDs,
As a mediator, I gotta stop this. I disagree.
The primary purpose of contraception is to prevent the egg from being fertilized in the first place. The situation that he's talking about where a woman is on birth control, the egg gets fertilized but doesn't adhere to the wall is actually, statistically speaking, incredibly rare. He's making yet another edge case like he did before with the abortion laws in certain states. He's essentially trying to trick her into thinking that this specific scenario is the same thing as abortion, which it obviously is not. This is just a dumb semantic thing.
on what?
What you just said about starting a human life, like you're stopping someone from getting life by an IUD.
Yeah.
I don't think that's.
I feel like that's a stretch.
So a girl gets an IUD for multiple reasons, right? One, she doesn't want to have a
It's mainly one reason, dude. It's because she doesn't want to get pregnant.
kid. Two, she wants to let her partner maybe her, which is what I've experienced. And so I don't think that that's fair to say like, yo, they want to take away a human life. That's her saying, I'm not ready to be pregnant. We're not there yet. And typically, what I've experienced is girls get them when they're younger.
I agree with you, and that's the point. I don't think there's anything wrong with contraceptives.
Don't you ever?
I don't think there's
Don't you
anything
ever hate on
wrong
IUDs,
with
my
birth
boy?
control. I'm not hating on contraceptives and birth control. It's great, but the point is, from the pro-life worldview that says abortion is murder because it's terminating the life of a conceived.
I've never heard anyone make the argument that birth control is murder. I've never heard anybody make that argument. I'm sure you have some crackpots that say it, but the overwhelming majority of people on the right don't believe that birth control is murder because it interferes with the implantation of the egg on the uterine wall or whatever. I've never heard that argument before. That just sounds very silly.
But you can't impregnate a girl if they have an IUD.
Okay, well, follow me here. Let me know if I'm not explaining it that good. So you think that abortion is murder because it is killing a unique, valuable human life, correct?
I'm not saying it's unique or valuable. I'm just saying it's a baby.
Okay, abortion is murder because it kills a baby.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And you think that the life of that baby begins at conception, right?
Sure.
And when an IUD will end the life of that baby because, it's after conception by not allowing it to implant into the uterine lining and killing it, why wouldn't you also call that murder?
Because I think that conception also includes the implantation of it in the wall. All those things need to happen ultimately in order for the pregnancy to happen. You're trying to do this like logic gotcha trap thing with her. It's like this doesn't really matter. Like nobody really cares about every single step that needs to happen. Like the girl is pregnant or she's not. Whether she's not pregnant because she has an IUD and that's preventing the egg from implanting into the uterus, or she's not pregnant because she never had sex, or she's not pregnant. None of that matters. At the end of the day, she's just not pregnant. You can be pregnant or you can be not pregnant. There's no in between. Who cares about every single stupid little step along the way? It just doesn't matter.
Interesting, because it's like you're not putting an IUD in, and then every time like a dude, it's like, okay, a little mini abortion. Like the whole point is it's preventing that.
So it has two functions. You're right. This doesn't happen every single time.
Yeah.
But for instance, if I had a gun and I pointed it at the door behind you.
Please, no more dog shit analogies, dude. Please. I can only handle so many.
And I pulled the trigger 5 times, and there was a 10% chance that killed someone on the other side of the door, and I do kill someone, I'm going to be just as culpable for murder as someone that did it with certainty.
No, I see what you're saying.
So even
culpable?
I'm going to be just as culpable for murder.
Culpable.
As someone that did it with certainty.
No, I see what you're saying.
So even though an
it's just
IUD only yields like a certain potentiality for killing the life of a conceived human, it's only one of the 2 functions. I don't see how this would change the culpability for
because they don't think that it's killing a person by just taking birth control.
Murder.
That's what you're getting hung up on. Nobody thinks that.
And I also don't think it's a stretch, right? This is just me applying critical thought and reason to a very important conversation. Like,
but
how is it a stretch for you to?
What is the conversation? IUDs murder too? All right.
So you think women with IUDs are murderers? Or can you recognize that is incredibly absurd? And if that's an absurd outcome that you don't want to hold to, maybe your logic is faulty.
Well, I'm not calling them.
Well, that's absurd, right? But so what?
Murders. I'm just saying it is. I mean, an IUD is not murder. That's like I said, that's a very far stretch.
Stuff.
But if you have an abortion and you're
so then give me the difference.
Killing the baby.
Then give me the difference between an IUD killing a conceived zygote and a woman killing a baby in her womb.
I think that if you don't...
in one situation, the woman is pregnant. In the other situation, the woman's not pregnant. You fucking retard.
Have the IUD, you're acknowledging that there's a risk you can get pregnant.
Yeah, I think at least one's trying to prevent it.
So there's like an acknowledgement like, hey, I don't have an IUD implanted. I can get pregnant. That's a way different take than I know I don't know the percentages, but it's probably 99% or some shit where you can't get pregnant if you have an IUD.
Yeah.
So it's completely, in my opinion, it's completely different.
His argument is even dumber than you think when you actually think about it for a moment. Because if a woman was having sex and she was not on birth control and the egg got fertilized but didn't adhere to the wall, which is a very common thing to happen, technically, using Dean's logic, you would describe that as an abortion, which is obviously absurd because the woman was never pregnant to begin with. Both things need to happen in order for pregnancy to take place. So he's doing this stupid semantic word game thing with her over the word conception.
Also, I'm not against birth control. I'm against how bad it is for women.
I would love to wrap this into an analogy because you're saying birth control can be very harmful to young women.
Well, it is.
Thereby, we should educate young women about what those potential side effects should be, and they should.
No, we need to provide them with other options as well, all natural, organic options.
Yeah, something that's better. My analogy here would be is that Donald Trump is very harmful to American citizens and his voter base as well.
Let's tie educating women about their bodies to Orange Man bad. Like, dude, are you fucking stupid?
Thereby, every single American citizen should be educated on the full list of risks that comes along with voting for him. And I feel like this is maybe where we see an indiscrepancy.
Yeah, we have, and we voted him back into office.
In your stance, because earlier when we were talking about Donald Trump, we talked about maybe some of those risks, such as the fact that he's a 34-count felon. You threw him out of the window calling it lawfare. You did the same thing with
It clearly was.
the case about sexual abuse. I'm sure that you do the same thing if I was to bring up is racism, is sexism, or really any like
Well, no, that's not related to lawfare. It's just bullshit.
negative property of his character. How come in
I'm
one
not out here
scenario
saying
you
he's a
think that
perfect
people should
human
be
being. That would be
informed,
unrealistic.
but in the other scenario you don't?
I mean, it's like these are all. It's so funny because this is like what.
No, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, he just kind of like does this thing where he just sort of word salads. What's the examples of racism? What's the examples of sexism? Like, what specific thing?
The same facts that are true of this dynamic of gender between men and women and how many men lead compared to women is also true of white people and black people. Does that lead us to the conclusion that white people are better at leading than black people?
Well, and I disagree. I
No,
talk
it
to. I
doesn't.
do.
Hey, well, men and women are different than black people and white people, dude. Race and sex are two very different things.
For a living, talk to thousands of women every day. I'm in multiple group chats. Most of these women are 25 to 75. We all agree because we want to be in traditional relationships with conservative men, and most of us are, and a lot of them have kids. We don't want to do those things. We want to go back to a more natural approach to living because that is where we thrive and that's where we're happy. All the women that are the happiest are the ones that get to be at home with their, and they're statistically proven. Max
So do you think
Lugaver
that
just
women-
wait, let me finish. Max Lugaver just did a video on this. Statistically, right-leaning women end up happier. And the thing is, every single woman I talk to, we don't want to be girl bosses. We don't want to be CEOs. I don't feel accomplished at the end of the day working 15 hours and coming home and being masculine. I would love to just sit at home and cook and clean all day. And every single woman I hang out with and I'm aligned with feels exactly the same way.
Well,
And
that's just because people who, like attracts like, birds of a feather flock together or whatever. Just because you and your friends are like that, most women are not like that. I mean, just to keep it real, most women are definitely not like that.
to us, it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually where our strength and power is. I think we make it a home. We make it a beautiful life. And we're all very proud of that.
That's a good point by Emily.
My response to that would just be the fact I could probably get a group of a couple thousand people together to say the exact opposite. I don't think that we should be dictating one's general abilities based upon what other people with the same gender identity or something in between their legs want to do themselves. Okay?
No, it's this thing of like
But it's all
everyone wants to be a
situational based, right?
CEO.
Yeah, like what I'd say is someone could do whatever they want to do. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm referencing is making prescriptive statements on what people should do or what group of people is better than another group of people at doing these things.
people should just do
I've
whatever
heard
they
that you've
want.
described to me that you want to be in a traditional relationship. Plenty of other people as well. But at the end of the day, why do you think that's the case? That's what I'm asking. Why do you think that men are better at leading than women? What is the specific biological distinction between men and women that make men better at leading?
I think a lot of the time stronger, smarter, and more logical and less emotional.
I mean, some of it has to do with intelligence. Some of it has to do with personality, impulsivity. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Great.
It's also history based.
We could get to that point. That's a good one. About strength, I don't think that physical strength dictates how good of a leader you are. Who would you rather vote for? A 15-year-old on steroids that can bench press 500 pounds or Donald Trump?
That's gonna be
Strength?
tough for me because a 15-year-old that can bench 500 is pretty impressive.
Is that good?
I don't care if he's on steroids or not. That is
That's very impressive. So who are you going to vote for? Who's a better leader?
As the gym bro, I'm still gonna go with my guy Trump, but
Yeah, still go.
maybe
Trump.
the 500-pound bencher can be VP.
Okay, so we see that like physical strength.
Well, it's like
doesn't
important.
mean
I like
better
need my
leader.
boyfriend to like go to the gym, work out, and be in shape. Like if someone's gonna come assault me on the street, like I'm not gonna let him be like some skinny, scrawny dude. Like it's important to me.
At the end of the day, some of it you could argue is superficial in nature, and that's fine. I don't particularly care. The physical strength really is probably more about like the health than it is actually like how much they could bench press or something like that.
It's a level of safety.
What are you trying to say? That he couldn't protect you? Wait, hold
God,
on.
no, you couldn't. That's a fact.
Okay, well that is crazy to say. You don't know Dean's skill set in the fight.
Have you seen the crackheads in LA? They have like
What
six
makes you
packs.
say? And I could also defend too. You think I could?
I wouldn't be confident with you either.
Ooh, that's not nice. Damn.
I don't know your
To
fighting
defend you?
skills.
Okay, see, now I'm going to get pissed. Now I'm going to take that as disrespect.
Well,
because I can defend you.
I don't know, but
all
all these
day.
crackheads in LA, they're like 6 foot tall black dudes.
That don't matter.
What?
It's about heart.
What? That was.
I am going to defend you if you're my girl. I want to make that very clear.
That was
Or
like.
die for me.
It was like a weird statement.
Why?
No, she just dissed both.
It was weird that you actually mentioned a person's race. Only liberals are allowed to needlessly racialize people, and we only needlessly racialize white people in order to shit on them. And now you needlessly racialize a black person, kind of to shit on them, but really just more like you were pointing out what you've observed in reality. So I don't like that.
Realizing the scary people that you want your boyfriend to protect you from on the streets is 6 foot tall black dudes. That was a
Most of the
little crazy.
crackheads in LA are usually taller black guys that I see like masked on the corner of Doheny.
Okay, that's
and
what she's seen off
screaming-
clips. We're not
screaming
going to.
death.
There's a lot of white crackheads as well, but that's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is that me and Dean are very fit to defend.
Dean's not.
All right, I'm going to
Dean's a scrawny little dude.
speak. Actually, I'm fit to defend. Do you think you are?
If you're just asking me if I'm like strong, yeah.
But you're gonna throw hands if your partner or your girlfriend is there getting harassed. Are you prepared to battle?
Are you going to throw it down?
Oh no.
Okay, so there you
That's
go.
good.
Don't-
He's in
like,
the fight.
Like
so-
okay, no,
Because you can't go in a
Yeah, you'd lose, but okay, cool, great. Can we move on?
full debate with
Okay,
these
but
people.
hold
You
on.
have to fight them.
Before
no,
you're
no,
gonna
no. Defend my girlfriend.
Know that we are both very capable of defending.
Well, I feel better being here with you
Can I-
guys.
can I
so you
guys-
would throw a punch?
I love to inform you on a thought of mine here. I think the idea that men need to protect women, right? If you believe that, you're kind of stating that women are more valuable than men. Like for instance,
No, you're stronger. Therefore, I
But-
need you here to defend me.
but then my phone case is more it protects my phone, and my phone is much more valuable than my phone case. So when you make the
Dude, your stupid analogies are rotting my fucking brain. Please stop.
argument that men need to go and protect and defend women, die for women, you're just saying that the woman is a very valuable individual and the man is less valuable and should give up an expensive.
Okay,
not what. So
I don't
not
Yeah,
what.
that's just your interpretation of it, dude. I mean, this is just what men do. Same thing if it was a child who potentially could be, hurt. I mean, like, yeah, you might risk your life to save the life of a child. That's just what you do. I mean, you could argue it's about the value or whatever. It's just this is just how society works. This is just how men and women behave.
What I'm saying at all.
Yeah, so I do disagree with that. I think that's kind of like the male's role as being genetically stronger. That you have to, and that's kind of like, I mean, what are you gonna do? You want to have your girlfriend defend you?
Oh no, I'm totally fine with if you're just making the argument.
You're saying
But
valuable.
you're right.
I'm saying
You're right.
vulnerable.
I'm totally fine if you're making the argument
he's
that
right
men-
about the fact that the
maybe-
girl's the phone.
Yeah, maybe
She's more valuable.
I guess at the end of the day,
For dating.
who's more valuable, the Secret Service or the president?
El Presidente.
What does it have to do with this situation? What you're describing? Holy fuck.
And what is the job of the Secret Service?
To defend the president.
Phenomenal. Who's more valuable, the celebrity or his bodyguards?
No one's disagreeing that the girl's more valuable here.
Yeah. I'm saying we're
Phenomenal.
more
If I'm with
vulnerable,
my
not
girl-
valuable.
Oh, you think that women are superior to men?
That's literally the opposite of what I'm saying.
If I'm defending, if I'm in a street fight and my girl's there, I have two things I got to do.
Well, superiority isn't. We're not saying the same thing. Like, you're just throwing these words out here, dude. I don't think you know what they mean. Like, why would that imply that women are superior to men because we as a society try to protect them from people who could hurt them? Like, what is this logic train? It makes no fucking sense.
I got to impress her, and I got to make sure she's safe.
So you think that
And then
women
get
are
her an
superior to
IUD.
men?
In a fighting scenario on the street,
Well, men are superior to women in a fighting sense, but in terms of society, are women more valuable? I mean, you could argue in some ways that's true, but again, who cares? Who cares about that?
I'm defending my girl. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Honestly,
I think that's two different topics, but I think that, that's my responsibility to make sure she's safe.
okay. And,
Yeah.
And anyone who's got
then-
something to say about it, you can pull up right now, and we are going to.
Finna
Yeah, and then you said
If
the
you want to
opposite.
fight Emily right now, I would have to defend her.
Well,
Yeah.
don't
And
worry,
I would beat your ass. And I would defend you. I just want to let you know.
I do not want to fight Emily.
No,
I was like, I've
I'm just letting
been
you
in
know.
many
Like,
fights
if
in
you
my
want to
life.
get to
I
her,
tend to
you
handle
got to get
myself
through me.
quite well.
You got to get through me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I also something funny just happened there. So with something I didn't say there is like when we say that men need to defend women, that implicitly paints women to be like indefensible and vulnerable to a very high degree themselves. That's something that I didn't say there, and you kind of said it for me. Like he just said that he would defend.
I mean, it's true, but who cares?
You, and then you step in and you're like, I could defend myself. W feminism.
You did say that.
Just
No, I'm
saying.
saying if-
W
You did say
feminism.
that, and it's like, let me.
I'm not
let
saying
me
like
handle
I'm just
the
gonna
beat.
be
No,
like sit here and let your ass get kicked.
No,
Of
see,
course
now
I'm gonna
it's
jump
not-
in and help you.
Okay, wait, hold on. Now he's trying to turn this on you, but I want to let you know that you are safe. If there's a fight, you don't got.
All I
want
wanna
to
know-
I will defend you.
And if you defended me, I would obviously.
I know this dude's just joking here with this like banter, but he's not fucking funny. Can we move on? Is this gonna get more interesting?
So basically, I think what
defended me.
Emily's saying is if someone dug up that she said previously, she would stand on it and
Oh, yeah.
own it.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Which
never.
isn't
You're never
what-
gonna get an apology.
Which
out of
you've
me.
done, which you have done.
So I just want to clarify. You said that no one would ever get an apology out of you.
Mhm.
So if it came out that you would like murder a kid 10 years ago,
Okay, this is hypotheticals.
it is
I love.
hypothetical.
Once again, you know what we have to do?
We can't do the
We have to
hypotheticals
do
in
the
here.
big stretch.
We can't do that
It's
hypothetical.
always
That's a
gotta be the
crazy
big
hypothetical.
stretch.
It's,
with the
it's
lid.
actually like not a terrible stretch. If you
Really,
use
you
it
think
right.
I'm a child?
No, I said if it came out that you had murdered a child 10 years ago, would you apologize?
I don't know.
It's like it's so.
That is a little severe.
It's
and
so funny.
I mean, you said that you didn't do apologies.
no, but
I
I'm
guess-
saying if she said something,
Dude, who cares? Like, who cares? Holy fuck. Are they gonna actually talk about something else here?
as you have said in DMs, whatever.
Yeah. I'm like let's
Slurs.
Do something
She would
comparable.
probably let's do a comparable analysis here.
He doesn't. Nothing is ever comparable. He just uses some weird fucking analogy that doesn't even make any sense.
Okay, yeah, you cause harm by
How about like she made jokes about murdering children? How about that? That would be something that's somewhat comparable rather than whatever the fuck it was that you just said.
engaging in racism and saying slurs, which is like actively eroded and marginalized and dehumanized people
Got it.
for hundreds of years. I think that's probably something you should apologize for and
I
grow
just
past.
I wouldn't.
You would own it.
Yeah.
Like,
Not own it, but
why?
she would
do you
accept.
think that saying slurs is permissible?
I
Yeah, absolutely.
don't think it matters. I don't think words are. If you're not a like weak person, I don't think the words are gonna hurt you. I think you're gonna be okay.
With all due respect, weren't you telling me earlier that like words that people have said to you online have hurt you?
Yeah, and I'm not, and I went and cried, and then I got over it.
But I mean,
I'm not
but-
going after those people, being like, you're gonna say sorry.
But do you wish that
you
they
hurt my feelings?
do you wish that they never said those words?
No, I'm glad it made me a lot stronger, and it's made me incredible in the industry I'm in right now. If people did not go so hard on me, I would break in 5 seconds.
So you think it's okay to cause other people harm if it generates them a good outcome in the long term?
It did not cause me physical harm.
It doesn't. Again, you're overthinking it. Like, who cares? I mean, who cares about that? The point is that people are allowed to say what they want to say. And it's just really not that big of a deal.
Wait, I never specified physical harm. I said
Okay.
harm.
I think free speech people can say whatever they want.
Okay, so people could say whatever they want.
Sure.
So if Trump came out and said tomorrow that he wanted to kill Jewish people, you'd still vote for him.
So that's a president talking about an
Yeah, you're talking about a president saying something that's potentially could shape policy to commit a mass murder or a genocidal type of policy. That's not comparable at all. Like his analogies are so fucking bad. It's like he's designed to fucking stab your brain with his retarded arguments. It's like he's a chat GPT creation, and in the creation is designed to like harm people who can think logically, mentally harm somebody who can think logically. That's like what he is.
entire group of people. I'm talking about
Damn
person.
it, why do we always have to go this route?
See, it's so funny. It always has to be, like I said, it's, you're not doing well when you have to use hypothetical statements and then also make it such a far stretch that it's so unrealistic.
That's how we test logic. You're saying people could say whatever they want.
No, you don't. You use something that's actually remotely comparable. You don't just do some like stupid fucking going to the extreme every single time. You don't do some like argumentum ad absurdum thing every single fucking time or whatever.
I said this you've said in the past, and my followers asked me to bend the knee. I would say absolutely not. Unfollow me. I don't care. I'm not apologizing for what I said. Boom. Case closed. Easy answer to that question.
Yeah, so if you're in a relationship and it came out that you called another guy cute, you want to apologize for your boyfriend for that?
No.
There we go. That's the
No.
sense. That's where I want to be.
Look how
Let's
cute he
be
is.
PG right
That's
there.
where you want to
Look how
be?
cute he is. I'm not
Okay.
gonna
No, you
apologize
said that
for
I can defend you. You're not coming back in here. No way.
Okay, so if you're in a relationship and it came out that you're asking another guy to sleep with you but failed, would you apologize to your boyfriend for saying that?
No, I would just say leave me then. I'd say what I
Yeah,
was
well,
wrong,
that's
and I'd say
okay.
leave me.
At least she's honest, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like insane.
Well, I don't know who
I'm
my girl
sorry,
DMs.
what?
I'd rather her say like, "Hey,
Hey, I did. What are
I
you
did
gonna
it,"
do now?
or I DM, or let me show you what this guy said.
But like you wouldn't be apologetic at all?
Huh?
Well, it
What are you
depends.
talking about?
Is he hitting her up or is she hitting him?
What about this? If you told someone to commit suicide and they did, would you be apologetic for it?
Probably not.
Dude, what are you talking about? She's talking about her career and how people would criticize her, but probably said that she was a dumb blonde or something like that. Like, that's not comparable to telling somebody to go kill themselves.
Emily, what the?
That's just insane. I'm so sorry.
Can I make them take their own life?
you okay, I'm gonna be
I get
honest.
5 million people telling me to kill
I'm
myself every day.
gonna go ahead and be honest.
You think
here.
they're gonna feel bad if
I'm
I
gonna
did?
be honest.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. You like literally like lack an ability to empathize with other people.
Yes, that I lack the empathy.
You just told us that you wanted to apologize if you told someone to kill themselves and they
I didn't make
did.
them
In
kill
fact, you
Well,
said that you wouldn't feel.
Who cares? Has she actually done that? Then why? She probably hasn't thought about it a lot. Like, who cares, dude?
Bad about it.
I get those comments too.
Yeah, I get 5 million comments a day to kill.
Of course, and I do too. I do too.
So you're saying that all of those people should just go ahead and apologize for some stupid shit that they said on the internet? I don't think that most people really think that much about this. I don't think that most people really care.
But that doesn't change the fact
Do you think
that you probably should feel bad.
You
You
yourself, you
said
think I
that
would feel
comment
bad?
to someone, and
No,
then
they
they did
wouldn't.
it. Could you
If
repeat
someone
that?
myself, it's because they want me to kill myself. Why the fuck would they feel bad? It goes both ways.
I'm saying that you should feel bad.
And I don't.
Do you agree?
God, you told me earlier that you don't give a shit that he raped a woman.
'Cause he
Okay,
didn't.
we're not-
He didn't do it though, stupid.
We're
not-
sitting
we can't-
about
we
and
can't go there.
complaining.
This is we're
Also,
staying
you
on
don't, like,
topic
you don't
here.
have proof
Changing
that you
her
don't know
accent.
that. That's
No,
a
we're
crazy
saying
thing
no.
to assume.
Okay, see, this is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna go back on that. We're
Turning
talking
into an
about
interview.
Kamala's accent, addressing different crowds. How you're right. She's still speaking the English language, but she has a little accent. Can we agree on that?
I don't. I'd have to see the clip of you saying that she's talking in a Jamaican accent, in
Or
front of a
like when
Jamaican
she
crowd.
addressed the
because it's
Latino
possible
audience.
that isn't even that's Jamaican. That she's literally speaking in.
This
another
is something
language.
that's been clipped up and been going very viral on social media. So
Yeah, I mean, I know. I've seen the clips of like her speaking.
Well, again, like you're doing a stupid semantic thing. Whether she's selectively utilizing a certain dialect or she's speaking in an accent selectively, it doesn't matter. She's doing a thing performatively. People find it cringe and people are criticizing her for it. You can do this stupid semantic thing where you say, well, it's not technically an accent. It's actually this other thing. Shut up. Nobody cares about that.
At a rally in Georgia when she was just speaking in AAVE, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing racist about that.
I do.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's racist. I just think it's funny how she's around a bunch of black people and all of a sudden she just like talks like she's a ghetto black girl or whatever. I mean, I assume that that's what they're talking about here.
I agree with you. There's nothing like it's not the biggest issue at hand.
It's not
But
an
do you
issue
think
at all.
that
It's
do you
just
think
funny.
that it could come off to people as like, all right, this lady's
Pandering.
literally just trying to fit in. We don't really know who she is. Like when you do see Donald Trump, he addresses every audience the exact same way, right? He doesn't change up.
Well, I want to
treats
say
everybody.
that's true.
Well, I mean,
He doesn't change his fucking accent though, stupid. He doesn't develop an accent.
in terms of like the accent and like he speaks one way the whole time. He
I mean, he'll
addresses-
tell the billionaires and the oil execs at Mar-a-Lago that he's going to fight for them, and then he turns around. And
I'm talking
says
about
it'd be good for the homeless veterans.
I'm talking about at rallies when he speaks into the
Okay.
mic. He's the same guy. What you see is what you're going to get with Donald Trump.
No, I disagree. I think he's the biggest liar that we've ever had in the Oval.
We're not talking about that, you fucking moron. Holy shit. Can he like not stay like focused on the fucking argument at hand? Like he's talking about the way that he speaks. Like Trump doesn't develop or lose. He doesn't gain or lose accents randomly, speak a certain way. He doesn't do any of that, dude. Kamala Harris did that.
Office.
Okay, so once again, the question was same accent across the board. Yes. He's not, oh, girl. Like, this is insane. Like, this.
Right, exactly. You know, doing the whole like, girl, you know, I've been out here on these streets. You know how it is, queen, you know, or whatever stupid thing that she was saying in that commercial or whatever the fuck that was.
It's literally comedic, but once again, it's like die hard,
maybe.
save your side. Anything they do is okay. If Trump did it, it would be the biggest thing today. You have seen it a million times by now. Because she did it, no one gives a shit. Next question.
If Trump
It's
was
a dumb question.
if Trump
No, I don't agree with that. I think if Trump started like speaking in like a ghetto accent, I'd find it funny, to be honest. But I'm kind of an asshole. Whatever.
was a black man and he spoke in AAVE, right? That would not be racist in the slightest.
The most terminology.
Okay, could we stop?
No. If Trump was a black man and he spoke the way that Trump speaks, which is somebody with maybe a slight New York accent, a Queens accent, but all of a sudden one day in front of a whole bunch of black people, he started talking in what you call AAVE, yes, that would be wrong. Well, wrong is subjective, but that would be pandering.
Stop using terms like the
No.
wrestler.
No. Free speech.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just think like that's just like so weird and antisocial and like
Don't care.
bad.
Yeah, nobody cares about your opinion, dude.
What, use the R word?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like it's
Okay,
just,
yeah.
like, it's bad.
Jesus. All right, we're moving on.
Yeah, let's
from
go.
that. Okay.
Yeah, nobody cares about your fucking delicate sensibilities, dude. Go away.
Questions.
I have a question.
Please help this situation. Please help lighten this situation.
Well,
This is the biggest problem in the country. I want to let you guys know is how far apart you stand on every
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we
We
need
are
to come
trying
together.
to
That's why we need
unify.
to advocate for education. That's why we need to advocate for critical thought. That's why we need to place country over party, and we need to get past the partisan.
Dude, stop with the fucking platitudes. Like, stop with the word salad platitudes. Like, oh, we need to put over country. We need to blah, blah, blah. Shut up.
Hacks in the media telling us one thing. What I
Who
think we
control?
really
Who's the
need
media?
is- who's the
The
media?
media is all one side.
Okay, and what's the largest media company in operation?
What are you talking about? Fox?
Fox News is not the largest media outlet in operation, you fucking retard. You absolute fucking retard. It is the #1 cable news channel. It's not even the #1 news channel. ABC, CBS, NBC News, I think all of those have a bigger audience than Fox News. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that every one of those has a much larger audience than Fox News. And again, like, obviously that's just the news channels. Of course, there's also newspapers, which are almost all of them are liberal leaning, with the exception of maybe like the Wall Street Journal or something like that. They're almost all left leaning. So this is very, very stupid argument.
No, they're actually not even a news publication.
No, I'm asking, what are you talking about?
About
There's
Twitter.
90% of the media. Well, it's
Twitter? What? Twitter's not a news outlet, you moron. It's a platform for people to just say whatever they want. It's not a what in the fuck?
fine. Twitter's all very like right leaning right now.
Yeah, and it's
You know
the biggest
why?
news publication in the world.
It's also the only.
You consider Twitter to be a news publication? Why? That's like saying that YouTube is a news publication because people can post their news on it. Nobody would use that argument. That's stupid. Ultimately, the news comes from a source. It comes from the Associated Press or Reuters or whatever the fuck. It comes from somewhere.
place we have free speech, because if you post anything, I do this for a living. Hi, you post anything on Instagram, TikTok, I say, hi, my name is Emily, because they know I'm a Republican on there. It's taken down immediately.
Okay.
I don't want to be there.
Emily,
It's just the only time we can be there.
Let's address that issue. Free speech platforms.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Wait, she didn't get to ask a question.
You can go
hold
ahead.
your thought. Hold your thought.
Are you
Please,
sure? Okay.
We'll come back.
please hold your thought.
Got it.
Recently with Instagram, something came out with the Biden-Harris administration about censorship.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about how X is the only platform now that you can have free speech. How do you respond to that?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, first of all, like free speech, as in the First Amendment of our Constitution, right? This only protects us when we're talking about government fixtures and our legislation. Like the White House making a recommendation towards like a third party, such as Meta, that is a private organization themselves, to update and refresh their terms of service to combat COVID misinformation to save more lives, isn't intruding upon your constitutional
COVID
right to free
misinformation?
speech. That's
It kind of is, though, to be honest, but, you know, whatever.
a whole other issue of its own. Can we get through this topic and then
Let's
go
get
into
through
that?
this topic.
All right.
Continue.
Like for instance, I run my debate lives. I debate random people every day. If I set a rule and I said, if you come up onto my live and slur, I'm going to kick you. Is that me violating the free speech of the people that come up?
That's not comparable to what we're talking about, though. You're talking about you on your own show on the platform telling somebody else not to do something. That's fine because they're on your show. A better argument would be, could that person use the same platform as you to say those words? And I think that they should. Now, I don't think that they have the right to go on another person's show and say whatever they want. Of course not, because they're on your show.
I mean, it is.
It is. Okay, so it's not.
But you're controlling that.
Well, yeah, but if it's
So they don't get
That's
that
up.
free speech.
That's not up to.
So
wait, hold on. Really
it's-
quick.
it's
But
not in violation of our
Dean, that's not up to.
Constitution.
That's not up to what platform do you stream on?
TikTok.
Okay, so that's not up to TikTok. That's up to you.
Because I'm setting the rules of my platform. I'm trying to find a way to describe it here. You have a business, you have a brick and mortar business. You could sell to who you want. You get to decide what the rules and regulations are that
You can't just sell to who you want, though. I mean, what do you mean? Like, you can't just decide arbitrarily, I don't want to sell to like Jehovah's Witnesses, or I don't want to sell to like, Spanish people or whatever. I don't want to sell to like, Cajun people or something like that. You can't legally do that technically.
your business operates under. You get to decide what days you're open on, which days you're closed at, what time you open, what time you close, etc. Right? When you set these rules and regulations that may like exclude some people from being able to travel to your store, maybe their only day off is Saturday and you're closed on Saturdays, you're not like infringing upon any of their rights because you get to set the rules for your property, your space, your platform, and that's actually protected by.
Again, this is another horrible analogy. Like, what in the fuck are you talking about, dude? Obviously, these tech platforms today are where people go to express their views. It's just the digital form of somebody standing on a street corner yelling in front of a microphone or whatever. They're just reaching an audience digitally. The intent is the same. There's a difference between the letter of the law and the intent of the law. The intent of the law in the First Amendment is that people should be free to say what they want without fear of being persecuted, as long as they're not defaming somebody else, as long as they're not causing some kind of public health concern or inciting sedition or threatening a person or something like that. Like a couple of limitations to it, yeah, but for the most part, people should be able to say whatever they want, including offensive things. The First Amendment is really there to protect people who are saying things that are offensive. I mean, the speech that we all agree with doesn't need protection. That's the whole point of it.
By our Constitution. And that is what that is what private platforms can and do, all right? Like terms of service, right? Restricting you from like tweeting out the N-word hard R, like those are really good, and they don't infringe upon your free speech because that's a constitutional right that applies to the criminal justice system, to our legislation, to our courts, to our Congress, etc. That doesn't apply to private citizens and what they could do.
I mean, that is obviously technically true, but like people like Emily would disagree with that. They would say that no, it should be extended to these tech platforms, and these people should have their free speech rights upheld, even when it comes to private companies. In some examples, people shouldn't just be censored. Like your mom shouldn't be banned from Facebook just for being pro-Trump. Like why is that? Like why do you want that? I mean, you want it because you're a shitlib, but why would you want it if you were an honest person who actually cared about the First Amendment and cared about people's free speech rights?
Do with their property.
Do you have a response?
Yeah, it was like, okay, so what? So what's the question? What are we trying to get out here? It's like
Basically the goal.
one long definition. You're like amazing. So anyways,
The goal is like that when the White House recommends to Meta to update their TOS, no, they're not.
So the question that she's asking is, do you agree that it was a problem and it's been out there that Biden and Harris were kind of controlling Meta on what content they were able to release?
In this specific scenario, I don't think it's a problem at all. I'll be generous here, right? Could this ideologically be an issue if it were executed at a greater extent under greater means? Sure. Is it a constitutional problem? Not at all.
Why? Why do you say that?
Why is it not a constitutional problem? Because the Constitution,
You already explained it, bro.
as I've already said, applies to legislation, courtrooms, and anything to do with our government or its fixtures.
So who gives Meta the right to release what information they want to?
Themselves?
Right. So isn't that a free speech platform? Anyone can sign up. Anyone can say what they want.
No, they can't.
Why?
Because of their terms of service. When you sign up for any platform like Facebook,
But you know their
Instagram,
terms of
Twitter,
service?
you agree to their terms of service.
change every day.
Okay.
Like for instance, this is just like how it works. You walk into a restaurant.
That's okay. And I
One
don't mean to
second.
cut you off. Go ahead.
If you walk into a restaurant and you sit down and you order food, you have a bill for
God, yes. Come on. I think we can get to I think we can do 10 horrible analogies in this debate. I think we're on number 6 or 7. I think we can do it. I think we can make number 10. We already regulate businesses in hundreds of different ways. Businesses like restaurants aren't allowed to discriminate against customers based on their race, their sex, their nationality, etc. Also, we regulate restaurants in terms of food safety and things like that. Why not also regulate tech platforms to not allow them to discriminate based on political views?
Are they like violating your rights by forcing you to pay that money before you could leave?
No, but what if they're telling you what you can and can't order?
They are. They give you a menu of options of things that you can order, stating anything that's not on the menu you can't order.
Right. A better analogy would be, what if you came into the restaurant and you were wearing a red hat? Should they have the right to expel you from the premises because we don't serve your kind here or whatever? Like, do you agree or disagree with that? See, somebody like Dean would agree with it. They should have the right to do that. But obviously somebody like Emily presumably wouldn't agree with that. But she also wouldn't agree with it if you reverse the roles, presumably, and it was a liberal.
Right.
Is that wrong?
No, that's accurate.
Right.
But so if you
That's
go
not
through
a bad
terms and
thing.
service, I don't think there was anything on there, or Mark Zuckerberg wouldn't have come out and said, "Hey, I was pressured." There's no one at the restaurant's pressuring you what to order and what not to order with the menu.
Well, I listen. Like the deal is, the White House went to Meta. They asked them to update their terms of service to reflect these things. Meta could choose if they want to or not. Mark Zuckerberg probably said that he felt pressured.
He did say that.
Yeah. Like he probably said that he felt pressured. Because they're either coming on very strong. They really wanted him to do it. They're incessantly asking, but ultimately, that's not a constitutional violation of our First Amendment. What is a constitutional violation of our First Amendment is Donald Trump wanting to put people in prison for burning the American flag for a year, when the Supreme Court ruled in the 70s under Jackson v. Texas that is protected under our First Amendment right to freedom of expression. You've all taken issue with the White House wanting Meta to censor misinformation about COVID. Will you, in your mind, now stay consistent and condemn Donald Trump for wanting to imprison people for a constitutional?
Everything comes back to Donald Trump.
She's right. Like, it's like full circle. Somehow Orange Man bad. It's like, well, Trump is wrong to want to throw people in jail for burning their own flags. I mean, because that technically is their private property. I mean, it's a stupid thing, though, either which way you look at it. I mean, burning the flag, like, come on, dude, like, get a life. I mean, what a bunch of fucking dorks.
Protected activity.
Well, that is something I do have a problem with.
Okay, so
Is what you just stated.
So you think that Trump is like anti?
No, I'm not saying anything about Trump, but I do not. I understand how there have been people saying that is your First Amendment right to burn the American flag in America.
What about you?
Do I think that's okay?
Like, do you think that Trump is an anti-constitutionalist because he wants to infringe upon people's First Amendment right to freedom of expression?
No.
I mean, it sounds like Trump just disagrees with a court ruling. What's wrong with that? People disagree with court rulings all the time. To say that it makes them an anti-constitutionalist or whatever is really fucking stupid. Also, the Constitution has been changed throughout history. That's the point of the amendments. Would you argue that the people who amended the Constitution were anti-constitutionalists because they changed the Constitution and they disagreed with the Constitution before the changes? I mean, this is just stupid.
Then why are people burning American flags?
Let's talk about that.
Why are
That
people
is-
spreading
Ask a
COVID
question.
misinformation?
Hold on. Let's actually talk about that because I want to get your opinion, because that's something that I see and that does bother me. Being an American, taxpayer, everything.
Yeah.
I see
Do you know that you're supposed to be the moderator in this discussion, right? Right, buddy?
people burning the American flag in America.
Yeah,
Sometimes we don't even know if they're here legally or not. That hasn't been verified, but sometimes you don't know. That's an issue for me. You don't see that happen. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How come you don't see that happening worldwide?
We do. It just happened in Venezuela. They like try to overthrow their government because they're tyrannical.
And so they were burning their own flag.
They were like burning government buildings. We saw it on January 6th with Trump supporters. The
But
point
does
is,
that not? But my
Yeah.
point is that
Yeah,
not
you think
bother
it's wrong.
or you think that that's okay?
yeah,
They were burning American flags? I did not know that. This is the first time I've heard of that, but I mean, I'm sure that totally is a real thing that happened on January 6th.
My perspective is that, yeah, sure, you could say it's like anti-patriotic and even in some scenarios like anti-social to burn an American flag. I think it's fine to do so in like an act of protest against like something bad that the government is doing because the flag reflects the country, and if the country is doing something bad, it's fine. But ultimately what I'd say here is we don't have to have a discussion and agree on if it's bad or not to burn the American flag to still deem this as anti-constitutional behaviors.
Okay.
Like
I mean, if that's the best example you have, you have a weak argument. Like, who cares, dude? Just don't burn the fucking flag and you'll be fine.
It's bad to spread misinformation. Do you guys think it's bad to spread misinformation? Probably, right? But yet that is constitutionally protected.
It's your opinion that a thing is misinformation. But yes, I don't think that people should do it, but I also don't think that the state should be twisting the arms of tech companies to get them to go and censor people, because now they're violating those people's free speech rights.
And there can't be legal action brought against you for it.
Misinformation is just anything out of a Republican's mouth, because they well, first of all, the free,
especially yours.
Everything you just said is so funny, because you went around the entire thing, because this is what people do on the left. You take one, you could do it even a yes or no answer, and then you run with it a million different directions. You make sure it covers Trump bad, and then, but if you do this, you do this. I was one of those people censored, and along with my friends, who, by the way, when we get censored, we don't make money. We lose everything. People have their licenses stripped away. I think this is the number one issue, especially considering it's so ironic. Only one side was censored the past 4 years. You have Bobby Kennedy, when I was seeing him and Tucker talk about how the Biden administration took down his account with 5 million followers on Instagram. And then he is in a lawsuit with them. They literally changed the terms and definition of what you can and can't say. And then when they found out he didn't violate it, they just went and made their own rules. That is 100% election interference for them to be meeting with Mark Zuckerberg and being like, so yeah, it's like all the content was shifted one way. And by the way, all that misinformation that they didn't like would have saved so many people's lives, especially regarding the way we handle the COVID vaccine, lockdowns, masks, and all that shit.
Actually, the point was that
people have died.
Wait, what do you think about her saying that certain sides are being censored and the left is not?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, you brought up something to do with like RFK and like his Instagram account. I don't know anything about that.
It's a huge lawsuit right now. He's suing the Biden administration.
I think what I could say is if you don't like election interference and like censoring and
let's talk about, if you don't like election interference, guys, you really shouldn't like Donald Trump. You really shouldn't like that Donald Trump guy. Let's just talk about Trump.
Seeing the voice and the vote of American people, right? You should probably vote for the candidate in the party that does that less.
Oh, that's why I am. I've only been censored by one side.
But the thing is,
like, liberals are not being censored off these platforms, dude. It's just not happening. I mean, like, you can find like a couple examples of times where somebody like Vosh had made a comment about Israel. Hassan made a comment about maybe like 9/11, I don't know, or whatever. He was using like racial slurs or something like that. And he was doing it after he had been warned. And even then he only gets like banned for like a couple days. You do not have to look far to find right-wing people who are banned from these platforms.
Donald Trump did try to censor the voice and the vote of every single American citizen in 2020 with his fake elector plot. So Donald Trump
so you can say try. Try. Great. He tried. Sure, I'll give you that.
It's not really true. I mean, the elector thing is kind of a dumb bullshit shit-lib narrative. I mean, people can hire alternate electors. It's not a crime. It's not really that big of a deal. They don't have a legal basis behind them anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I have real experience considering every single person I work with, which is thousands of people. We all have strikes. We all have flags. We all get taken down. We all get censored. It's interesting why we can't have certain topics
so first
here
of all,
so I'm saying censorship is on one side. That is just a fact.
That's just not true. Do you know anything about Trump's fake elector plot?
We're not talking about fucking Donald Trump right now, you fucking idiot, dude. What is fucking wrong with your brain? Does this guy live rent-free in your fucking head 24/7? She's talking about a different fucking thing right now, dude.
Wait, hold on.
They have no answer.
Hold on, moderator speaking.
No, I made it
Moderator
incredibly
speaking.
clear. You
They have no answer.
Hold on, moderators.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that, but it caught my eye and I'm like, buddy, is that your left arm? Technically it's not, but it's just funny to me that he kind of did a thing there. You did a thing.
speaking.
No, I made it
Moderator
incredibly
speaking.
clear. You said I
Trump
said that
and
you should
Trump
vote for the party
Guys,
that doesn't
we have
list.
a lot
Also,
to get
you
to.
can't just relate like your
Hold on, you look
random
super
bans
hot.
and suspensions like on social media to the Biden-Harris administration. Here's the thing with Republicans.
She wasn't talking about that, numbnuts. She was talking about tech censorship, and you decided to switch it over to some completely unrelated thing.
Wait, Dean,
Actually, people like you,
Dean.
Emily, is you just like to blame
But they did actually do the thing that you're talking about with Facebook and the COVID misinformation. Regardless of how you feel about it, they did actually do it, though.
all of your problems on Democrats because you lack the
You
ability
literally-
It's projection, bro. I mean, this is just projection. I mean, you blame everything on Trump.
But
to
wait,
take
you
accountability
Dean,
yourself.
Dean,
literally
Dean.
just
Okay,
blamed
okay.
everything on Trump.
Okay, hold on. You look super hot.
Thank you.
Okay. She did make a point there,
And I'd like to respond, yeah.
but I'm gonna let you respond. But I haven't seen any of the left side when she talks about censorship. She's dealt with a lot of that. I haven't heard the left side speaking up, being like, "Oh, I posted this got taken down." It always seems to be the right side.
Okay, yeah, because one side of the aisle spreads more misinformation and lies than
Because
the
one
other.
side is right.
Okay, but do you
I
think
love
that
it.
So true.
we're going back to freedom of speech, right? Do you think that that's a problem?
I think that censorship is a problem, like when we're censoring things that like aren't hate speech or aren't like blatant misinformation. I may even go far as to
But why do
say
you think the
that
misinformation is always on the right?
some-
and not-
Those things are just your opinion, though. Like what you consider hate speech, another person would just consider a joke. What you consider misinformation, another person would just disagree with it and have a disagreement with you on it. That's the problem with censorship. It's a very subjective thing. You're censoring somebody based on essentially your opinion, which is why it's not a good idea to do it in the first place.
the left.
Well, I'll get there. Well, I may even go as far as to say that sometimes misinformation shouldn't be censored with terms of service and should like rather be dealt with through like social scrutiny and response. I would also say that no, this doesn't just happen to the right. I've been through 7 TikTok accounts. I've had a conglomerate over 500 bans.
But you are currently on TikTok, so obviously you're not banned.
This doesn't just happen to people on the right, okay? And then like the third point here would be like once again, if you don't like censorship, maybe it's time to look at your own party. No one has tried to censor the American voice more than Donald Trump.
Because I asked the question if you're able to criticize Trump, and I'm wondering what qualms you have with the Democratic Party and what
Yeah.
issues you have, and maybe you agree on those too.
We're trying to unify.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming to do.
And you guys are so far.
Okay,
What?
let him answer.
So one thing about the unity, I love Kumbaya. It is beautiful.
You guys just shook hands.
Yeah, that was a little insane. I don't know if I like that. But what I will say is it's really hard to meet in the middle of the aisle when like one side of the aisle, it's like fact versus fiction. You know what I mean? And on some of these like hard issues, that is truly what it is, right? You're either in a
Dude, just say no. Just say no, there's nothing that I could criticize then, rather than just saying this kind of stupid shit. Well, you have to understand that we live in reality and they're all delusional. It's like, okay, great, buddy. That was a great talk. Yeah. You know,
alignment with the
we're really building bridges here today.
truth or you're not. And there's no meeting in the middle of the aisle there. You know, that's like if someone were to steal $500 from you, then try to give you back $250 to really.
Okay, we're at number 8. We're at number 8 for dog shit analogies. I think we can get 10. I know we have another 30 minutes. We can get 10.
Meet in the middle. You know, no, like, oh, you deserve, right, $500 back in your bank account, just like the American citizens deserve the truth.
Well, okay, let's.
So once again, this is a bias. You're saying
The
one
American citizens voted Trump back into office, dude.
side lies and it's not your side, and everything you guys say, all the fact checkers are correct, which have been proven not to be. The facts are correct. The fact checkers are, of course, on your side. Everything's on one side. Once again, this is why you can't even ask honest questions.
So hold
with
on.
This side.
So it's actually not what I said.
Wait, hold on,
I
hold on.
said that
Yeah,
it's
one
fact
side's
versus-
one side's all facts, one side's lies. Let me guess which one you think that
Especially like
is.
when we're talking about some of the things that we already have.
Well, she is saying that she feels as if
Like what? What things?
one side, which you're directing the facts, Democrats.
That is, yeah.
Fiction is
Wait,
a Republican.
I think we need to clear that up. It's not like the Democrat Party is always right. That's not true. Like the Democrat Party has supported Israel. I don't like that. The Democrat Party, like
That's kind of based. I will give him that. A little based.
in like the 70s pushed for racist legislation like the crime bill. I don't like that.
I don't know what crime bill he's talking about here. The main crime bill that people usually reference was passed in the 90s, not the 70s.
I don't think that the Democrat Party nor the Republican Party is as focused on fixing the debt as much as they should be. I don't like that. I think that they could do more for marginalized communities.
100%.
They could do more.
Hold on.
These are all weak things, though. Oh, well, 30 years ago they did something. I don't agree with that. It's like, okay, dude, nobody's talking about the crime bill in the 90s, really.
Both sides can
critique
definitely
the
do more,
party.
but we're talking about facts and fiction.
Yeah, you're saying any fact that comes out right now is a fact, and it's true.
So we can
What?
can we both agree that some things the Republicans say, some things the Democrats say, a lot of it's going to be true, and a lot of it's not going to be true.
Yes, on both sides.
Can you agree with that?
Yeah, sure. Like sometimes,
So it's going to happen either way.
like if we're, yeah.
Okay, kumbaya moment.
But I think what I'm overwhelming trying to achieve here is that I definitely say that people that are voting for Kamala Harris are much more acquainted with reality than people who are not voting for Kamala Harris. I could also say here that.
But why, though? Why do you think that? Like, what specific thing makes you think that? I mean, like say specific things. Don't just sit there and say fact over fiction and reality versus delusion. Like, just say an actual fucking thing. Like, what specific things would make you think that?
I say acquainted with the truth, I'm also going to be referencing like internal contradictions. So like maybe I hear a Republican contradict themselves more than I'd hear a Democrat contradict themselves. But
Off what experience you say that?
Yeah, like for instance, you call yourself the Republican Party calls itself the party of law and order, then votes for a felon. They say they care about children
Without
destroy the
referencing
American-
Trump.
Yeah, without Trump.
Without referencing Trump.
Okay, so like you're just removing pieces.
He cannot remove Trump from anything that he says. It is literally impossible. Like Trump and his disdain towards Donald Trump is the foundation of literally every argument that he has, literally everything that he says ever. It's impossible for him to do that.
The chest.
Well, you're addressing a whole party when
And who's the champion of the party?
you're right.
So that
It is
represents every
Trump,
single
but
one of
that,
us?
Yeah.
That represents people who are voting for Trump, but yet still claim to be patriotic, caring about.
So
children
that's
or
one of my
pertaining to
problems
law and order.
because, and I'm going to be honest, is because they always like the biggest problem with politics is there's always going to be the what about this? This happened in the previous years. He's got this track record. She's got this track record. But if we're really focusing on what's at hand, that's not part of the issue.
Okay, what's the issue?
The issue is like we're talking about two candidates. We're not talking about stuff that happened 20 years ago because we could, like, people want to come at Kamala, right? About her previous history in San Francisco. There's allegations about her sleeping with the lawyer.
Oh, no. There's no allegations. And it wasn't a lawyer. He was the mayor. She dated him for years. No one disputes that.
Or the mayor, right?
Mayor Willie Brown.
Willie Brown. Sleeping with Willie Brown to promote herself to move up in the political industry, which who knows? And I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying that
It is the case. I mean, it's a fact.
that's another allegation.
There
that people-
was. I mean, we could talk. Do you want to talk about that allegation? Or you
No,
just
I
wanna-
don't.
No, it's not
I want to
saying
move. I want to move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on right now. We're picking back up here. This has been absolutely insane. We are getting there, though. We are unifying the country right now.
Can I ask
And
something?
this is a completely different topic, and I'm gonna switch it up. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Are you
man.
okay with that?
Yeah, I don't care. Ask away.
What are your personal goals in life?
Seriously, dude, who the fuck cares? Holy fuck, you have to be the worst mod. Can you, like, do something else for a living, bro? Like, holy shit.
College is a complete waste of time. This is a prime example. This is all they're doing in colleges is literally brainwashing you to hate yourself, hate your country, and this is literally just this. Everyone coming out of it is a psychopath.
Do we agree that
Wait, you said everyone coming out of school is a liberal?
What do you think they're doing?
Yeah, basically. I mean, not literally everybody, but overwhelming majority of them are getting. I mean, certainly they're not getting exposed to right-wing ideas.
Doing in school?
Wait,
right
hold
now.
on.
What
Wait.
class teaches you to hate your country?
No, what?
To take your fucking pick, bro. I mean, are you joking? Any of them? Fuck, dude. All the professors are all shit libs. Like, you know that there's been studies on this, right? Like, they've looked into the political leanings of college professors. They're almost all liberals or leftists.
I think the
Name one.
main topic is: do we think that most of the universities, the teachers, are more liberal than Republican?
Of course they are. Statistically, that's true.
That's a really weird way to call Republicans.
Okay, hold on. But
Why? Because they're not.
Dean,
Gonna,
what do you think about that? Would you say that most of the teachers?
I don't know what word they censored there. Maybe he said dumbasses. So he basically is equating college with intelligence. In other words, if you just don't go to college, you're just not very intelligent. This is a typical like asshole elitist position that these fucking people have, where they do the college degree thing. Maybe Republicans don't want to become professors specifically because they want to do other things for a living. They want to start their own business, or whatever other thing. Like they just don't want to become professors. So what? Who cares? Who cares about that? Why does that make them not intelligent?
Are
I think that that's a fact.
Right.
I think that like the most right-leaning education field is economics. That's where like we have like more Republican professors, but still yet they only account for like 40%. Like vast majority of professors are liberal.
Mm-hmm. Do you think?
Okay, so do you think that maybe only exposing people to left-wing ideologies is bad, or do you just not care?
That that's a problem?
No, I don't.
Do you think that there's any?
Of course, because he wants them to be groomed and brainwashed into thinking the way that he thinks.
Emily, please, moderator. Do you think that there's any influence that?
You know that she's actually like part of the discussion, dude. You know that she actually is supposed to be discussing these topics with the other fucking person who's in the room with you, bro. Are you not aware of that this is a debate?
Could portray and be, let's say, students who are having all liberal professors, it's going to lead them towards that way and have a biased opinion.
I have like some interesting thoughts on this. It's like, so when you tell me that a liberal professor is going to make a student lean to the left, right? All that, like, when I think of that in my head, it's like, what, like shit that made me lean to the left was just like learning, analytically speaking, on why trickle down economics is bad and how that's something that the Republican platform upholds. So it's like a liberal professor could indoctrinate one of their liberal students in an econ class by just going over the historical trends of what happens when we decrease taxes on corporations. Like
a stupid example to use. I thought he was going to say something about unions or something like that, which would have been a better example. That's a dumb example.
Like sometimes it is really just about like facts and general education and knowledge. Now, of course, right, people on the right side of the aisle are going to vehemently disagree with every word I just said. Right? You think that it's indoctrination.
It is.
You think that there's like lies and misinformation that's being spread and turned into propaganda to teach our youth.
Yep. Yeah. Yes.
Show me it. I'd love to.
Dude, anything about the alphabet community? I mean, anything about communism? Like, what do you mean, dude? Take your fucking pick. Like, pick an issue.
See it.
Pick an issue, and there's people who are brainwashing, young people in our country over it. Just pick something.
Well, I think the main argument in that a lot of people that I'm friends with as well, who are like, I went to school, I learned nothing about taxes. I learned nothing about starting a business. I didn't learn anything about these things. Mm-hmm. So it's almost as if you're taught not to do those things or not educated on, oh, wait, I have a business. I can write this off. I can be taxed this way. Like that's for me is an issue for people that a lot, like I have a personal friend who told me like, I started a business. I didn't know anything about taxes. And now he's paying a extraordinarily more amount now.
That's not a political issue.
No, but do you think that that's a problem with universities that kind of stuff is not being taught?
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
But is that a left thing or is that a right thing or is that just not political?
I don't think that's political. I just think that people aren't taught as much as they should be about personal finance.
Okay.
I agree with him on that.
So that's something we should change.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be in college, though. It should be in high school, really, to be honest. But I agree with him on that.
Yeah, 110%.
Yeah, 100%.
There we go. There's 2 agrees.
Well, I disagree
There's 2 agrees.
literally everything before that, but yeah.
Do you have anything? Besides the fact that Emily, you look super hot. You got a guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you like to do after college?
Dude, he's so fucking cringe, man. Like, I know he's just like playing around, but god damn, that shit is fucking painful to listen to.
Sure, great question. Who knows? I am a firm believer in the fact that you don't need to know exactly what you're going to do or where you're going to be or where you're going to go with a concrete set in stone plan. My whole thing is every day I just try to do something, anything to push me in a good direction. And then we'll see where that good direction leads me. I mean, I did.
You know that when you turn your fucking face away from the microphone and then you speak, it doesn't get caught very clearly. You know that, right? You know how microphones work, Dean?
like overwhelmingly to do with your first question about like political biases in school, until I'm presented with evidence that children on some wide scale are being deceived by mass propaganda with like very specific classes.
I mean, how big of a scale are we talking? I mean, what do you mean? Like, it has to be happening to most children before we care about it? I mean, what do you mean?
Very specific literature, etc. You know, I just think that's conveyant of like education making you more liberal.
What about flags in classrooms? Trans flags, gay flags, Palestine flags. Do you think that's acceptable?
Yeah, of course.
Really? And you don't think that's shifting children for teachers that are so pro those things to be speaking about it and having flags of it?
Yeah, I don't think that a piece of fabric can make you gay, ma'am.
No, that's not the question.
Hold on. As a moderator, let me please intervene. I think that what we're all agreeing on is that the education system should be strict.
I mean, obviously, the person though who has the flags in her classroom has those flags up there because she has those views, and she has those views. She probably discusses them with her children, with the students. That's the point she's trying to make.
To certain rules, right? Why should one teacher be able to teach something that might be more personal or might be more political than another?
I would have pressed him further and said, what about like if it was a communist flag? Like, what if it was the hammer and sickle? Is that cool? And then if he said yes, then I would have been like, what about the Nazi flag? And then he would probably say no.
Teacher who's going to stay out of politics and just teach the agenda.
I'm not quite sure that we see like anybody so when you reference like the LGBTQ plus community, like how are like teachers teaching kids to be gay? Like that's not a thing.
That's not
being a member of like the LGBTQ plus community, like that's just conveyant of like a multiplicity of attributes, like who you're attracted to, who you're not attracted to, if your gender identity conforms and aligns with your biological
But you would agree it
sex
makes
or not.
sense. They might
But,
be
like,
pushing
what's the
their own
propaganda?
agenda on children.
So if she was smart, and I don't mean to say it like that, that's rude, but I don't know how else to say it. But if she were better at this, she would say, well, then could children then be taught, could we have the Bible in the classroom? Could we have the 10 Commandments in the classroom? Can we have prayer in the classroom? And then if somebody were like, well, no, I don't think that we should do that. Well, why not? They would say because of the separation of church and state. But let's just assume the separation of church and state didn't exist. Why shouldn't we do that? The answer is going to be because it's going to create a whole bunch more Christian children, and I don't want that. That's what a liberal would say if he was being honest. But why though? Yeah, but why does that create, Christians? Because they're discussing Christianity, because it's everywhere. The 10 Commandments, the Bible is there, prayer is there. It's the same thing. Like, you're kind of indoctrinating children into this idea.
What's the agenda? Please describe to me what the agenda is.
Hold on, moderator.
Because I don't know.
I think that what she's saying is, let's say you have social studies at 4 p.m. and at 3 p.m. you have sociology, and at 3 p.m. you walk in and there's a pride flag, or there's this flag, there's that flag, and then at the 4 p.m. there's no flags. So it's kind of like the teacher has that power to teach students something that might not be part of the school's agenda. So if one teacher has that ability and they're enforcing that on kids, is that a problem?
I think that like teachers should only be teaching kids things that are good for the kids' education. I like the idea.
Educating them about gender affirming care and transgenderism is good for their health, isn't it? I mean, isn't that what you would say?
Of having like formalized curriculum, because that's how we ensure that generations of kids are going to be best off. I think we need to make the curriculum better. Maybe like what I could say is that those things should be included in the curriculum to a higher degree than they are right now.
Which things?
Like promoting acceptance just through education about what being gay is, what it means, because I think that ultimately education defeats prejudice. So maybe
I mean, like, what do you everybody knows what it fucking means, dude. Even kids really kind of get it, dude. I mean, it's not that complicated of a fucking topic.
What I could say is I see where you're coming from, but my response is those things just should be included in the curriculum. And I'm also like not quite sure what you guys mean when you say that children are being taught the gay agenda. Like what is the gay agenda?
I don't think anyone said that. I'm just, she was saying is based off of like a teacher controls the classroom. So if there's certain flags on the wall that kids are going to see, be confused, not understand, and a teacher has that power to.
Yeah, it's just promoting acceptance. I don't think anything's wrong with promoting acceptance in a classroom.
There's acceptance and there's
for instance, We have we'll have like signs on the walls in classrooms that say "Boo, bullying bad, stop bullying." Okay,
Yeah.
that's just
Well,
promoting acceptance and
here's the thing,
kindness.
there's multiple-
What's the difference between promoting acceptance and kindness by being anti-bullying
Okay.
and promoting acceptance and kindness by being anti-homophobia?
Okay.
They're not related to each other, though. Bullying and this stuff. I mean, right? This is kind of a stupid comparison.
We get it because we understand your side. I have an issue. First of all, I actually spoke on a panel with moms. I work with moms. This is something I'm very passionate about. So I know what's going on in these schools. There's 100% agendas. They're pushed. They also don't want kids having phones and recording. Why is that? Because the teachers are promoting their agendas.
Like what?
There's a video. Let me get through it. You went on for a long time. I didn't interrupt.
Yeah, dude, like seriously, like I feel like he talked 90% of this fucking debate. Holy shit.
So there's a video going around. A teacher has a trans flag, a Palestine flag, and the teacher was actually caught on camera basically denying the Holocaust. So I do think that is issue. And I think these teachers are doing these things because they don't want to be caught. It's 100% issue.
Yeah,
I want an
the
American
Holocaust is
flag.
bad.
Let me finish. I want an American flag. I want nothing else in the classroom. Not only that, Planned Parenthood is now writing curriculums and parents are being denied seeing those curriculums. You know why? Because there's agendas in it. Also, a trans flag, a gay flag, it's sex. That is sex. Why are children being looped in with anything involved? The American flag does not represent sex. So why is that being looped in?
Yeah,
It's frankly pedophilia as well.
When we're referencing like the LGBTQ plus flag in a classroom, right? We're not like using this flag to be to like promote like literal intercourse to like 13-year-olds, right? The goal would be is to promote acceptance of people.
It's promoting the lifestyle is what you're doing, and the lifestyle is these things. You know, it is these things. So it is gay sex. It is, you know, it is what it is.
People who fall out of line with what you have been taught is the norm. Okay, like obviously 13.
That's what the American flag's for.
But
I will say,
We're all Americans.
What I will say based
That's
off
why there's
what
a
he
flag.
13-year-olds are
there's
gonna
definitely
know.
cases where you are right, but there's also cases where the teacher influences may be harder than a different teacher. So it's situational based.
Well, I mean, we could just say this. I don't think that there's anything wrong with promoting like acceptance and like moral virtues that are generally positive in a classroom, even if they're not in the curriculum. I think that's just a burden that educators have with who they're educating, especially when it pertains to our youth. I think that that burden could definitely encapsulate and include, right, teachers promoting inclusion of students that aren't straight, teachers promoting inclusions of students that aren't cis, among other things. And I mean, the fact that you'll sit here and be so damn disingenuous that a teacher saying that, you know, you shouldn't bully one of the students that isn't straight is promoting sex is outrageous.
I mean, that's not the only thing that they're saying, dipshit. I mean, like, dude, you could spend 5 minutes on a Twitter account like Libs of TikTok and you can see what these people are actually fucking saying. They're not just saying don't bully other kids. That's not what they're saying. I mean, they're clearly going into much more detail about the lifestyle, about all the genders, about the care, about the, you know, about how they're a privileged class. Basically, they're like a marginalized class, which basically makes them, you know, a privileged class in America.
Actually, by the way, before all the trans and all this stuff became the only thing to discuss, there was gay kids in my class and everyone knew, and if they were bullied, they would get in trouble. And there was an American flag in the room. We didn't have to have, this didn't all start when there was a trans flag. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you guys are using that.
Yeah, there wasn't all of a sudden a huge bullying problem that needed to be addressed. That wasn't a thing that happened. If anything, there was less bullying than there ever was, but we're discussing these things in the classroom more now than ever. This is just a stupid argument.
So when normal people with children who are worried because the teachers are talking to them
Are you
about
saying being gay is
sex,
not normal?
to some people it's not.
Okay, why?
Why?
Who cares? Who cares about this? Ugh.
No.
Why am I going to speak on behalf of other people?
Oh, is it normal to you?
Sure, it's normal to me. It's not normal to other people.
Oh, okay.
We all have gay friends.
So you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that being? Do you think that being gay is wrong?
No. Why do I care? I don't care what
See, she's not really a liberal. I mean, she's not really a conservative, to be honest, but that's fine.
you do. Just don't talk to children about it.
Oh, okay.
It's weird. Talking to children about
So
sex
this is
weird.
a sensitive
Do you think
topic.
that sex ed is okay to be included
No,
in a high schoolers curriculum?
these teachers.
Sex ed is not what we're talking about, though.
what they're doing is inappropriate and it is bordering.
Do you think that sex
pedophilia.
ed?
Do you think that conservatives were complaining about sex ed? You know, sex ed is a thing that's been around for many, many, many decades. When do you hear conservatives complaining about sex ed? Conservatives are complaining about the transgender ideology in the classroom.
Wait 1 second. Do you think that it's okay to include sex ed in a high schooler's curriculum?
In high school.
So it's okay.
It's actually much younger than that. It's usually taught to like 11 and 12-year-olds. That's middle school. That's when people start going through puberty. So that makes sense.
It also, like, on the inverse of that.
In high school,
teach
where the
about,
it's not
like,
children.
sex ed not only related to, like, heterosexual intercourse, but also same-gendered intercourse.
Yeah, now they're teaching.
And yeah,
it to
we
sex
shouldn't be-
before
we
you're
should-
old.
And I don't remember gay sex being included in sex ed. I mean, I've never heard of that before.
Gonna be
This is what
talking-
happens when we.
All right, I
Yeah,
just-
it's
that's a
actually- it's
drastic
actually not
line.
good for
You
the
gotta-
country
Like, what
to
I
tell
advocate
you.
for is
wait, no.
age-appropriate material that would align with someone's age.
There's books
like, for
called-
instance,
What is age appropriate though? Like 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds being taught this stuff? I mean, in some cases that's happening in the country, dude.
Gay baby.
like, I'm gonna,
Okay,
so
guys,
this is
guys,
such
guys,
a this is such a reach. We teach math at all levels, elementary through
entire
high school,
platform is-
but you're
Wait,
teaching
hold on.
math at
So what?
Hold on.
age-appropriate
Dean,
levels. Same thing
we
with
get
acceptance
your
and inclusion.
It's just that's just stupid. Math? Okay.
point.
Yeah, we don't teach little kids like, you know, calculus. I get that, but so what? So what? What's your point?
Just got a text. We got to wrap up. So this has been insane. It's been 3 hours.
Can I ask a question or no?
What is it?
No, I just
No, I want to leave here on a good note. and I
No,
want you
that's
guys to
why
be
I'm just
friendly and happy.
It wasn't really a good note.
so curious at any point, and you'll cut this out because I know you won't be honest with this, but it's like at any point in time, it's so funny because like, how much money are you making doing all these things? Does the Democratic Party pay you, endorse you?
Okay, wait, so-
on TikTok, you make money.
Hold on.
doing this.
I'm going to actually mediate this a little bit. What she is saying is you make a lot of money. From her perspective, thinking about what you do, you stream,
Yeah,
you go on these big YouTube
No,
channels.
I'm asking.
Yeah,
You make a
I
lot
mean,
of money doing this.
A lot of people ask me about the income that I make. I mean, I wouldn't like talk about my income.
But do you think that's
to
an
a group
issue?
of my like?
It might influence
no, I
you?
don't think it is at all.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't like share my income
Because that's also
with, like,
fair to say about you.
like closest friends.
Oh no, go ahead. I would.
She wasn't saying you're the specific amount. She's asking you where the money is coming from.
I would openly share my income. It's not. There's no money in saying the right things or being on the side that I believe to be right. It is just funny because I know for a fact the things you do, because I talk to people about it, make a lot of money, and therefore that's like why I don't.
You don't know
respect it, 'cause
anything
it's
about like what I do
It's
or how
100%
much money I
grifting.
make.
All right,
Wait, what, like, can I? Okay, with all due
It's
respect,
grifting.
Yeah.
she makes statements.
Okay, I
I
gotta
want to
piss again.
respond, and then
These
you
rest
like cut me off. It's like I
Dean,
feel like
go ahead.
Yeah. So so now you're
You talked like 90% of the fucking time.
just accusing me of being a grifter.
No. I'm just simply asking.
So what is grifting? Let's start there.
Incentive
Can you answer one of my questions? What is grifting?
Go for it. Grifting is I call people grifter in the movement, doing things not for genuine reasons because the fact that you make money off of it.
Okay, so here's the issue. You assume because I generate an income based
No,
upon
I'm asking, do
Which-
you
could
make
let me-
money doing
could
this?
you let me? Yeah, of course, I make an income.
There you
Okay,
go.
That's how
You
I
don't-
pay
you
my
don't even
bills.
need to
But where does the money come from though, dude? It only comes from like, you know, super chats or whatever from TikTok, or where is it, or does it come from somewhere else?
Explain further.
No, I would
That's
like
it.
you don't want me to explain further because
No,
you
that-
know that
the
you won't be able to
question was-
substantiate the
the
view that I'm a
question was,
grifter.
do you
accuse
make money doing
One
this?
moment.
Yes.
You accuse me of
There
being a
you go.
grifter just because I make an income based upon what I does not qualify me as being a grifter. Okay? Was I a grifter when I started streaming on TikTok to 30 people a day making pennies?
gotta start
Was I a grifter when I decided to
How else would you
drop
make
every
money?
But just because you don't make a lot doesn't mean that you're not necessarily a grifter though. I mean, that's kind of silly.
when I decided to drop what I had going for me in the context of web development, software development, hardware development, to
Like
go
what? Your fucking, you know, e-commerce course scam thing that you were running? Like who cares? What, you know what?
on TikTok and talk about social issues that matter to me? No. You have to believe that I do not have true intention behind the words that I say.
I think you do.
In,
I just
in
think it's
order
very
to like
limited.
internally cope with the fact that I disagree with you and my points can and are substantiated.
Can I ask you something?
That's just your opinion though, dude.
Do you think that because he's makes money off of his political opinions, they are disingenuous? Is that
No, it's 50-50.
All right,
I think 50% is just completely disingenuous.
All right, guys, we're wrapping up. I don't even care anymore. One Night with Steiny.
supposed to be here
This is
50
supposed to be a comedy show, and it turned into a battle.
I could do comedy, but
We were gonna end
Liberals
on
aren't
one
funny.
note and one note only. Say something nice about her.
Oh, dude, can you please stop doing this fucking thing?
I appreciate you for showing up.
Yeah, bright young kid. I hope your future's bright and your opinions change.
Okay, and I think that maybe this could turn into a dinner.
Wow, would love that. I'm always
You guys want to
down.
take a dinner? I'll get the reservation.
Let's do it.
I think I have plans.
What are your plans, Dean? That's a lie.
No, I think I could check, but I think I probably have plans.
Okay, Dean, you're a very, very bright young kid, and you have a bright future, and I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you.
Emily, you're an absolute smoke show. You are also very bright, and I appreciate you coming on here and defending your stance.
Yeah.
This has been an insane episode. I'm not usually doing stuff like this. Usually it's a bunch of girls, and I'm having a good time. I had a great time. I appreciate both of you coming on, and I hope that we can kumbaya one more time. All right, guys, that's it. One Night with Sonny. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh god, dude, that was fucking painful. Oh my god. See, okay, I am very, very glad that this incredibly upvoted comment is what I was saying exactly. I am so glad for this. I'm losing brain cells. The moderator is the most insufferable person. Dude, I 100% agree. I mean, holy shit, dude. I know you're trying to be funny or whatever, but like, god damn, bro. Like, one, you were a horrible moderator. Awful. I mean, maybe this is not like what you normally do for YouTube or content or whatever, but you did a horrible job moderating this discussion. Like, it was very, very painful. Damn, some of these comments are brutal. Please never moderate a debate again. Thank you. Wait, guys, stop arguing. You are so hot, by the way. All right, continue. Oh my god, that shit is too fucking funny. You do understand that being a moderator in a debate means you aren't supposed to be giving your opinion. I mean, I don't care about the fact that he was, cringy and he was like complimenting her physical appearance over and over again. I mean, that was cringe and annoying, but like, he was just a terrible moderator. He let Dean basically talk like 90% of the time, and then when they were discussing something, he would interrupt them and move on to something. He was just terrible. Like, he's a fucking idiot. And then he kept doing this dumb like, oh, let's just talk about our feelings fucking thing or whatever. Like, dude, like, what in the fuck? Bro, timestamps when the mod called her hot or hit on her, and he has all of these things. When the mod cut off Dean for the next topic, we have a lot to get. Well, that's different though, because obviously like Dean will just fucking word salad, and you do have to interrupt somebody to get a move on with things. So they're bringing up the unattractive comment about Jean Caroll or whatever. I don't think that was the point that she was trying to make. The point that she was trying to make was that Trump has options. So why would he have sex with somebody or sleep with somebody he didn't find attractive? And that's not the best argument to make. But if you actually look into the Jean Caroll story, the E. Jean Caroll story, there's really nothing there. But there's a lot of shit libs in the comments who are thinking that Dean did really well, and he really just didn't. I mean, he actually really doesn't actually have good arguments. But these people are fucking morons in the comments. I mean, they're pointing out the analogy thing. His analogies were fucking horrible, dude. They were awful. No, dude, you don't test logic by using garbage dog shit to your analogies. That's not how you do it. You use an analogy that's comparable. That's what you would do. I don't know. I didn't really see the moderation as being biased in her favor, because he interrupted her multiple times. And Dean clearly spoke the majority of the time. But it is true that she's not very good at debate. But whatever. Who cares, I mean, these debates are not interesting because the girl who's talking is interesting. And they're interesting because Dean says incredibly fucking stupid shit. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. This one was kind of long.